All right, let's see if we can get this going. All right, we are tentatively live. Just trying to get everything down to potato mode, so YouTube will be happy with my content. Let's see what we got here. Let's get it going. Oh man, Austin's here. Alpha Beta. Let's see. Welcome aboard. Friday night. Let's see if we can get some public view, some pubic view going. Yeah, seems like it's working. How's everybody's week? Hopefully not. All right, yeah, looks like we're good. Hopefully it wasn't too crazy. Howdy. Wow, 4K in the house too. What's up? Yeah, pushed it back a little bit later. Friday nights, it's a little tough to do the 9 o'clock, and so I figured 10. Why not? Let's go for it. Stay up a little late, get wild. Nobody's got anything going on anyways, right? Something like that. And yeah, I was going to do it last night, but just, yeah, scheduling, and there was a big move I was undertaking. It kind of took a lot out of me, so I just laid low and watched some David Lynch last night. So hopefully somebody watched some David Lynch. We're going to talk Elephant Man a little bit later. Though I also did watch, I finished watching all the documentaries on Twin Peaks: The Return, and I watched Eraserhead too, because I mentioned, yeah, extra credit. We could talk about Eraserhead. And I started watching Inland Empire, because that's the one film of his that I hadn't seen yet. So, but it was, like I said, that was last night. I was, LaserDisc home theater in the house. I guess I got to drop some Sony Muse references for that. Yes. LaserDisc home theater will be happy to know that my step-down converter supposedly is arriving tomorrow, so I can finally hook up the LDS9 into the main player kind of cubby downstairs in the main unit. And I've got some monoprice 75 ohm connectors with RCA jacks on one side and BNC connectors on the other. So I'm going to use that to connect the RGB HV out of the Ferrugia into, I do have a RGB HV, like separate RCA jacks on the back of my DVD-O. So I'm going to try that. But those monoprices, sending those FedEx Smart Price or Smart Post, which sucks, because that's like FedEx delivers it and then hands it off to the post office, and then the post office like gets around to delivering it. So I probably won't get those until next week. So I'm gonna try and do like a ghetto version and try and cobble together as many 75 ohm cables I have and just do it cheap in the meantime and hook everything up, and then I'll just swap out those cables with the monoprice proper ones later. Ferrugia. Yeah, it's like Marsha. But yeah, I'm trying to think of anything, but I definitely had it for Commodore, and I used to rock the arcade cabinet all the time. When that came, I was probably, I'm trying to remember what year that was that I first encountered it. I'm thinking late 80s. I just remember like, holy crap, this is awesome. And then you're like, I could transform? Even more awesome. I'm a freaking werewolf. I will kick ass and blow through some stones and use some power balls and whatnot. But yeah, so I'm going to hook up the Ferrugia anyways, even if I'm going to mix the cables up a little bit later. I'm still thinking about running it two ways. I think I'm going to run the old Magic setup and then use one of the alternate video outs to go directly into the Ferrugia and directly into the DVD-O, and try it that way. And I can flip back and forth. Pete 1972, what is up? Yeah, what is up with the rabbit people? Yeah, Inland Empire. It's funny, when I first heard about the rabbit people, David Lynch was doing little short things and releasing them on the internet, and then all of a sudden it's in Inland Empire. And so far from what I've seen, it's like he's just taken pieces of the rabbit show and kind of inject it into the movie. One character's watching it on a television. So I'm intrigued to see like how that's going to tie in, or if it's going to tie in. I'm about an hour in, so I've only got 35 hours left, or maybe just 2. T2 arcade is impossible on Sega and SNES. Nice. Home consoles are actually harder. Yeah. Yeah, I used to kick ass on Altered Beast in the cabinet, but yeah, like I said, yeah, my Commodore one, yeah, not as much. Yeah, so I'll have some new gear hooked up. Pickups are pretty crappy this week. I got like one thing. I tried. I went to a bunch of places. I went to Big Lots, and they had crap. I saw some of the guys on Facebook had picked up like the Fast and the Furious, like every movie edition box for like $10, and a couple other things. And I went back, and it was still all the slim pickings left over from the big push when they added, the Alien box set and everything from a month or two ago. So it was all just leftovers. So lots of copies of the Bye Bye Man and I don't know, random crap. So I didn't pick anything up there, and I went to Target, and I don't know. Actually, my wife got. Actually, yeah, she got The Terror. Mikey was just talking about how he was finally watching that. That was cheap. And Emmett's in the house. What's up? Welcome aboard. And I gotta show some naughty words. Peter got Showgirls Muse. So it actually arrived, huh? Did he fire it up? See all that naughty Joe Esterhaus, Jesse on the stage. It's got isn't Kyle MacLachlan in that too? So a little bit of a Lynch connection. And yeah, so I got to watch The Terror, but I only got one other Blu-ray. I was gonna pick up Us, but I never got to Best Buy. I was hoping they had the Steelbook there. And yeah, right. David Lynch. It was funny watching the Emmys for 1990 again, and just seeing David Lynch up against some random schmo for directing from that TV show that got canceled, and then the guy from 30 something. It's like, this is David freaking Lynch that's up against you guys. Like, you should all just, like, if you win, melt your statues and deliver it to him in obeisance. Say you're not worthy, because you aren't. It would have been crazy if he had won Best Picture for Blue Velvet, but that would have been, or Best Director, anything. Austin got some German Hitcher Blu-ray action, nice. There's Home Theater, watching Showgirls. So yep, all that naughty nakedness and 1080, not even 1080i. It's what is it? It's an 1183i or something ridiculous. It's a weird format. Muse, go Muse. T2 is an impossible quarter obliterating beast. Yeah, Spencer, what's up, man? Spencer found the Fast and the Furious box. Alien set is that's all. It's all gone now. It was there when I first was going. That was like one of the easier ones to find, and I only saw one, Planet of the Apes, and I snoozed on it like an idiot, and I went back the next day and it was gone. So, oh man. Turn your opponent into a baby. Nice. Babylity. Finish them. 1035i. That's it for Muse. One of these days I'll get myself a Sony Muse player. But I'm excited to get the LDS9 finally hooked up. So I can take that for a spin. And I'll probably relocate the CLD99. Or I could leave two things in the main system. But space is of an issue. Especially because I'm going to be throwing a Faruja in there, NRS in the mix. The Thing is a decent HD DVD transfer. I still haven't gotten around to picking up the Shot Factory or Scream Factory Steelbook reissue of The Thing, because I actually threw on the 4K course. So even though it'd be double dipping, I'll probably pick it up anyways. Why not? And I could finally take a peek at that, because I haven't seen the Arrow version of The Thing yet. And one of these days I'll get a Blu-ray player and get the region hacked so I can start importing stuff. But like I said before, I'm not really in any rush to run out of money anymore. Like there's already an Arrow sale going on at Barnes & Noble. That's enough temptation for me right now. And then I got the Criterion sale right around the corner too. It's going to be a beast. Yeah, that first thing, Blu-ray, had like some craptastic DNR. I never had a copy of it, but I just remember hearing tales of especially like mysterious missing ping pong balls that were taken out of the equation by the DNR. So, oh yeah, Terminator 3 Blu-ray in 1080i. Yeah, wasn't that a thing? I'm trying to think if it's still that way on. It might be in my Terminator box set. Yeah, it was good enough back in the day, right? Who needs progressive scans for dopes? But yeah, so I didn't pick much of anything. I did get some stuff, but it just hasn't arrived yet. I got one really cool thing. That's probably going to be here in a couple days. But favorite boutique company, Arrow, Criterion, or Scream Factory? You know, on Blu-ray, I do love me some Criterion, but I gotta give it to, I don't know, it's almost a tie between Arrow and Scream Factory. I mean, Arrow puts out this, like, they've had a much better like track record quality wise since they had a couple issues earlier on, and they seem to kind of correct that, and they've been knocking it out of the park ever since. But that said, a lot of the stuff that drives people crazy about Scream Factory like really kind of flies over my head, so I don't really have the same complaints about a lot of their stuff. So it's on that angle, it's more just down to titles, and it's more of a draw on that because Scream Factory's got the John Carpenter stuff, at least here in the States. Sadly, there's, overseas, they've got Big Trouble in Little China and stuff, but over here, Carpenter's home is pretty much Scream Factory and a couple other things. But like I got Twilight Time Vampires. But yeah, so everybody loves the Arrow encodes and the Shout encodes and all that stuff. Yeah, the Shout encodes get people angry and riled up all the time. But yeah, just from the amount of discs in my catalog, I'd have to even them out just from a titleless factor alone. So I give them equal love. So sorry, Arrow only enthusiasts. They lives actually. Yeah, I know nobody's ballsy enough to have catalog titles in 4K over here. Like, the boutiques, nobody's releasing. I mean, Criterion should be dropping UHDs over here too. But yeah, they're just a little behind the curve. But whatevs. Yeah, and there are some people that actually like the Blu-ray thing. I have heard that. It's tough. Yeah, like I said, there's so much back and forth. Whenever I look at the Blu-ray forums page, like I pretty much want to sell all my Blu-rays and never collect again. It just takes all the fun out of it for me. Like there's like nothing that anybody likes, and everything is a travesty. And then if it's something comes out and it's good, it's only about 3 weeks before it's the biggest piece of shit everyone has ever seen, and everyone that was involved with it should commit ritual, Japanese seppuku, and everything is just horrible. Everything is terrible, and nothing's good enough, and everything sucks. And I just get down to the business of enjoying my discs, and if it's not the original Highlander on DVD level of shite, I'm cool with a lot of the stuff I have. And I wish I could say I could only count the amount of times I've yelled in outrage, "I see clumping grain on my screen." I wish I could say I could only count those number of times on one hand, but I can't, because I can't count to 0, because I've never said, "I see clumping grain." Because it's just, I don't see this crap. Like, I don't know. I'm part of it's because I'm blind, probably. I got glasses and everything like that. But yeah, so the stuff, I mean, I just remember hearing people freaking out, like Santa Claus wasn't coming level of, like, kids, if you told them Santa wasn't coming, like that level of like hysteria over the John Carpenter Scream Factory Escape from New York. Like, it was this atrocity. Like, there's like the Holocaust, then there's like Escape from New York, like a couple notches above it, and I'm like, whoa, dial it down with the hyperbole there, buddy. And then I ended up watching it, and all I kept hearing about was this like nasty streaking color lines. It ruins the image. And I mean, I had to look for it and like go back and rewind. I'm like, yeah, all right, I kind of see that. Like, I'm cool. So, I love it. I watched it. I enjoyed the crap out of that Blu-ray. Like, I enjoyed the crap out of watching that Blu-ray, and it's an atrocity. Like, it should be, every copy should be gathered up and burnt, and everyone who worked on it should all be put to death. And no, I loved it. So I'm kind of like almost at the level of like, I don't care. Like I'm all out of fucks. there's none more. The bank is empty. Like there's this great. Well, actually, no, I can't really make that a comparison because at least people are complaining about the product and not like the slipcover or something. So I'll give them that. At least people are getting riled up about the actual transfers and everything like that. But if everything sucks, like why bother collecting it at all? Like there's like probably one Blu-ray that's been released that meets the proper requirements of the enthusiasts at large. So yeah, so it's a really really thankless endeavor collecting Blu-ray and following the Blu-ray forums. Yeah, it's just yeah, tiresome. Everything sucks. Ooh, the Universal Horror Classics. I'm down with that. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to start off on a bad foot, but somebody had to bring up Arrow and Scream Factory, and that's just all I ever think about is dudes on Blu-ray forum like complaining about Scream Factory like over and over again, and everything's unacceptable, right? Something like that. I don't know, but yeah, if I actually caught this stuff, and I was perceptive enough to see these things that other people see. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like the incredible shrinking aspect ratio on Star Wars. I think it's really fascinating on the Laserdisc for like a curiosity piece. But I owned that disc for decades, and I never noticed it. It didn't detract from the enjoyment of the film for me in any way, shape, or form. And I only noticed it because someone took screenshots and finally figured it out after the fact. So, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's got to be like pretty craptastic. Like I bought a copy of the original Gojira on Blu-ray, and it was shite. Like it was like really really rough, and I'm like, all right, this was a waste of my money. Yeah. So then that one I regretted picking up, but I don't know. I feel like we're kind of spoiled in terms of high quality boutique titles, releasing cult movies and things like that. Whereas back in the day, I mean, not to say that you shouldn't reach for perfection or reach for a quality product and get rid of mistakes if they arise, but yeah, I mean, kind of thinking back to the early days of just having something on VHS or seeing something in crappy Pan-Scan or whatever, just to be able to see some of these things in relatively high definition in the original aspect ratio, and like we're already ahead of the curve. but I mean, I understand the urge for sure. But I was just thinking that too, like TVs, like my crappy 4K TV that is, one of those low rent panel ones. I was thinking people get like all upset about things not being acceptable if they're not OLED TVs that cost like $4,000. And I'm thinking this stupid little $300 TV is better than like every other like actual tube TV I've ever had. Like it's ridiculously good, but yet it's not like at the Keeping Up with the Joneses level. But it's like, man, that is one big first world problem. Like this TV is ridiculously good. Like it's way better than any TV I've ever had in this room. But I'm supposed to be dissatisfied with it, which is funny. But yeah. Anyways, ooh, Deep Red, Creepshow 2. I like those too. Creepshow 2 is one of those ones though that's supposed to be hated upon because it exposes too much of the frame. Like, if it doesn't expose too much of the frame, people get mad because they want to see open matte. But then if it does expose too much of the frame, people get upset. But yeah, there was a whole batch of transfers, House, Creepshow 2, that were handed to Arrow that scanned elements of the frame that would normally be, covered over with like an optical track or something. So they've got far too much on the left side of the frame. And Creepshow 2 is one of those too. So you could see like the kind of edging of the animation. That said, like if you're looking for it. Like, it didn't detract from watching the movie at all. I was still just as sucked into watching the movie as I ever was. Same thing with House. A lot of times too, I'm used to watching these freaking movies like Creepshow 2 and House 2 on HBO, or taped off of HBO, or like maybe a VHS copy that I got from an old rental store near me or something like that. So this stuff is a revelation, even all of its Blu-ray disappointment, where there's too much of the frame, or you could see like moments of Grip's hand or something on the side of the frame. I'm usually just so kind of blown away by the detail and stuff that I've never seen before. Yeah, Austin was saying that to the Creep Show. The Hellraiser 3 one, that was another one. Yeah, it's funny because there's supposedly like some big like gag ruining stuff that I totally didn't even notice, like the big pinhead totem thing, where apparently there's like kind of rigging or something like that on the left side of the screen that kind of ruins the gag. But I just kind of got sucked into the movie when I was watching it. So good times. Any new pickups? I do have some stuff coming in the mail, sadly. Oh, nice. Getting some Yahoo Auction Japan. That is good times there. I gotta start picking up some other stuff there too, like some music and things like that. But good times. But Creepshow 2, Hellraiser 3, House, all those Arrow discs. I love those. I love those suckers. And Creepshow 2 is fun. Still, like, not as good as the first one, obviously, in terms of it's cheaper and everything like that. But the stories are still great. It's a lot of fun. And, I don't know. I saw, Creepshow in the theater, and it just kicked my ass the first time. I don't think I saw Creepshow 2, sadly, until it came out on video. But it's still, like, iconic. Yeah, man. Between the raft and old Chief Woodenhead, and that one was kind of underwhelming the first time I saw it, but I like that more and more as I see it. And of course, thanks for the ride, lady. It's classic. I'm cool with that Hellraiser 3 from Arrow too. The whole Scarlet Box, I'm down with that. Like I said, we were talking before. I think the only thing I think I would have had is the LaserDisc cut of the longer cut of Hellraiser 3. I would have just rather have seen a port of the LaserDisc for the whole thing, instead of cutting back and forth between the the lower res SD stuff and the HD material. I'd just rather see the whole thing. And I'll probably end up getting the LaserDisc too. Creepshow 1 I need to get in blue for sure. Arrow's the only company that purists like. Apparently. Criterion, obviously if you're a enthusiast of kind of more foreign film and art house and everything like that, that kind of caters to that audience a little bit more. But just the fact that Arrow and Scream put together so much love for movies that are B and C and Z grade, that makes them a little near and dear to my heart, just because those are the Criterion's never going to do like a special edition of Basket Case, but Arrow is, and it's like there's something so just ballsy and awesome about that these people would give. That was like one thing I always wanted, was Criterion worthy special editions of movies that Criterion would not deem worthy of Criterion. And these guys do it, man, and it's awesome. Like all of the feature-length documentaries and stuff they'll whip together, and special features and commentaries and everything. It's awesome. Like they're really doing the Lord's work, so to speak. Oh man, the HBO premiere of Bad Boys, Pee-wee's Playhouse. Yeah, right. That's awesome. Good stuff. Bad Boys was my jam. But Pee-wee, I used to rock that too. But I didn't pick up anything this week, except for Mickey Ficky Venture Brothers. I freaking love this show, and it's for all intents and purposes is my favorite show on television. I know cult like television cartoon freaking dense, and the mythology is amazing, and I just I'm so psyched every time a new season comes out. So, and I'm amazed that it's still going, because it's been running for so long, and Adult Swim doesn't usually like to keep things on forever. They like to kill it, like Metalocalypse and things like that. So I saw the DVD at Target, and I'm like, F that. I've been picking up the Blu-rays of these since season 3, and Bam. It's got a sweet sweet wraparound graphic. Yeah, yeah, Spencer. Yeah, you might like it. If Johnny Quest is heavily referenced within, and pardon me. Yeah, it's in fact Johnny Quest is actually in this season again, or a version of him. I need to get that Warner Archive Johnny Quest box. But yeah, the season one's a lot of fun too. It's a little bit shorter. How many episodes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 10 episodes, so not too bad. Picks up where the last season left off, where the Venture brothers are living in New York now, and they just get so deep into the whole kind of backstory and the history of the show that they keep kind of digging up all these new kind of wonderful things. And yeah, so I ended up binging the whole thing with my wife, and then started checking out the commentary tracks. So I gotta finish those. I love the commentary tracks on those. And Johnny Quest's been overwhelmed with orders. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That's too bad though. But yeah, the commentary was sounded like Doc Hammer had a little bit of laryngitis or something. His voice was, deeper than usual, but it's cool. I like how they kind of keep exploring the characters as if the Venture brothers are getting older, going to school, and actually there's I love how there's multiple Venture brothers throughout the series, so it can reference different characters, but it's just so much fun. And the creators, Jackson Public and Doc Hammer, put so much effort into, and sometimes just not even intentionally, they just think out loud amongst each other and just create all these important bits of the mythology that it runs deep. There's characters that don't get introduced until seasons later that you'll go back and watch, and they were always there from season 1. It's awesome. Lost Highway is definitely super underrated. That's still my favorite Lynch flick for sure. Oh, Cobra released by Scream Factory. I haven't seen that in a dog's age. Yeah, good stuff. It's the most over the top Stallone action. So yeah, I gotta get that Johnny Quest, man. Wild Thing, dude. Yeah, that's a good one. I remember watching that. That's messed up because that's the one with was it White Rabbit in the beginning, and his kids, it's a bunch of hippies, his parents, and they end up getting gunned down by drug dealers or something like that, which leads him to become the Wild Thing, living on the rooftops and everything. I remember the intro was just freaked me out. There was a bunch of those movies in the 80s where Disney's love for killing parents spilled over into all sorts of other live action movies. There was that, and there was the beginning of was it The Earthling? Was it The Earthling with Ricky Schroeder, where he's vacationing with his parents and their RV goes over a cliff? I was paranoid every time I went camping with my parents. I'm there's pretty much 100% chance that I'm going to be an orphan because my parents' camper is going to go over a cliff. Good times. No, sorry, I won't sue anybody for not having seen the Venture Brothers, but it is near and dear. Yeah, Clive Barker's voice is rough too. I mean, he's lucky he can talk at all. I mean, I know he had some polyps and everything, and obviously just going into a coma and coming out of it, just the fact that he's able to talk at all. But yeah, he's rough. He's been sounding rougher and rougher and rougher since early 2000s or something. But it's so funny because you listen to Clive back in the day, and he's it's a totally different voice. Nice. Straight Story. I actually got to rewatch the Straight Story. My wife hasn't seen that, so we're gonna check it out. Yeah, I haven't seen Child's Play yet. I'm a big Aubrey Plaza fan, so I should probably check it out. So yeah. But I don't know. We'll see. Oh, Pete hasn't seen Venture Brothers either. I see it. Everyone just watches Rick and Morty. Nobody watches the Venture Brothers anymore. But it does have a core fan base that's pretty ferocious and fervent. So I guess I'm in pretty good company. And I've seen a lot of cosplay, Venture Brothers cosplay at Dragon Con and stuff like that in New York, Comic Con, but yeah, so it's got an audience, but it hasn't kind of broken through. It's just so complicated machinations of the world they live in and all the organizations they're part of. And yeah, Men in Black 4, X-Men Dark Phoenix, surprisingly. Yeah, I would have been down with a Clive Barker Mummy movie. That would have been pretty sweet. I would have been down with more movies, man. Lord of Illusions was so freaking good. Like, he was really on fire at that point. Like, if he would have been able to make another movie, like, hot on the heels of that, oh, so good. William's watching some Bubblegum Crisis. Nice. Oh, Robert Davi was the villain in Wild Thing. Nice. Some License to Kill villainage. Robert Davi's, like, a great villain, too. He's always terrifying. Good times. Yeah, I do appreciate that Mark Hamill gets to do the voice of Chucky or Buddy this time around, but I guess I gotta check it out. Yeah, I know, I'm kind of bummed about Shaft. I'm psyched to see Anna too, but I'm sure that's gonna make $5 at the box office. So yeah, yeah, the Fox X-Men, like it's the end of an era. It's probably gonna be a totally different thing from now on out. And then yeah, now there's the Avengers Endgame reissue that. There's so much misinformation going on about that. Apparently, like, yeah, there's still a lot of people clinging to the belief that it's a different cut, but from all I've been hearing, it's not. It's the same cut, and it's got at least a deleted scene at the end after the credits, and some other random things, some making of stuff at the end of it. I still might go check it out again, anyways, for the hell of it. Why not? But my wife wanted to go see it for the second time, but I haven't seen it for the second time yet. But Cronenberg doing some Frankenstein. Yeah, the 90s, the Universal Monster kind of thing was really interesting. How it was after the success of Bram Stoker's Dracula, that concept of attracting high level directors to do these kind of artsier takes on the Universal Monster classics, and it all just kind of fell apart with The Mummy, which. Like, I mean, I had fun with the Mummy movie, but it just was quite a different take from Branagh Frankenstein. But yeah, a Cronenberg Frankenstein would have been pretty sick. Spencer wasn't digging the new Shaft, huh? Bummer. I did enjoy the original remake. It's good stuff. Man, Jeffrey Wright was great in that. Christian Bale is pretty badass, and that Sam Jackson guy, he's going to places. Yeah, Robert Davi's one of the Fratellis. Yep, him and Joey Pants. Yeah, Logan Noir. I still haven't watched Logan Noir. One of these days I gotta check that out. I still haven't watched the Black and Chrome Mad Max Fury Road either. But yeah, one of these days. I have watched the black and white version of The Mist. I did that. I never did The Walking Dead. I remember they were showing all the Walking Deads in black and white too. I've seen Men at Work, but it's been a long freaking time since I've seen that sucker. Yeah, and I remember it, but I don't really remember if I liked it or disliked it, or if I was just kind of impartial, or maybe right down the middle. It's my duty to please that booty. That reminds me of my favorite line in Black Belt Jones. It was, "I'll make you sweat one way and then the other." Yeah, Kenneth was always into those puffy shirts, and yeah, lots of door flinging and lots of motion. That movie's fun enough. It was a guilty-ish pleasure, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I did Bram Stoker's Dracula, for sure. Yeah, but yeah, the Mummy movies are actually didn't. The Mummy Returns I didn't mind either, and I watched Tomb of the Dragon Empire in a pinch either. So even though I know they recast Rachel Weisz, but what was it, Maria Bello? Yeah, I can live with it. And what else is going on? Yeah, I do like the 2000 film. Yeah. Watch Psycho 2 through 4. Underrated sequels. I should revisit those. I saw 2 in the theaters, and I remember being rather bored by it. But I remember seeing 3 on cable and actually being into that one and being surprised at how good 3 was. And 4, I just can't remember if I watched at all. So I should definitely rewatch 2. But yeah, it's strange how 3 definitely made the bigger impact on me. I just remember, yeah, that it was just a little bit more like driving and involving, and yeah. But anyways, all right. So yeah, another William likes Psycho too. All right, we're gonna have to check that out again. But yeah, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just a bad night when I saw it. Yeah, maybe I just wasn't feeling it. But yeah, what else did I watch this week? I did watch Andromeda Strain on LD, which I think there's an Arrow release of that out too. But I went old school, watched it on LaserDisc. My wife was watching Dead to Me, so I watched like the last half of that. Then I watched that documentary about the amazing Jonathan that's on YouTube for free. That was pretty entertaining. Sad, but entertaining. And then a ton of David Lynch stuff. And yeah, it took me forever to get through all those special features on Twin Peaks: The Return. Holy crap, there's a lot of those little documentary things. Really fascinating, though, because you can really get a glimpse into David Lynch's creative process and how he kind of wavers between, super benevolent Jimmy Stewart into this kind of frothing madman. It's really cool stuff. All right, I guess I'm checking out Psycho 4. Psycho 5, Norman Vacays in the Tropics. I should have mixed it with Police Academy 5. Mick Garris did the 4th. Mick Garris is serviceable, man. Even his Stephen King TV stuff wasn't bad. And I'm an apologist for Sleepwalkers, so I'll watch any of his stuff. I enjoy his interview stuff too, so for sure. All right, I'm going back into the Psycho movies then. I just won't watch the Gus Van Sant one again. Strictly Sega in the house. What's up, my friend? We're just talking Psycho movies and Venture Brothers and what else? I went on a rant about people hating Blu-rays, even though it's perfectly in their, it's their prerogative, to hate every new transfer. So yeah, 99 Mummy was fun. Returns was one of those ones. Maybe I was a little punchy. I went to go see it late night, and I just remember it was one of those movies that was really kind of throwing everything in but the kitchen sink, and it was working for me. It was like, oh, this is fun, and it just kind of kept throwing new things at you, and it was inventive enough. It reminded me of an old, serial. It reminded me of listening to the old radio shows I used to love. The Shadows and all that stuff, where it wasn't amazing writing or an amazing story, but it just kind of kept things going at you, and it was I don't know, it was fun. So it's up there for me with the Phantom, things like that. Rod did some. So I've been watching Rod's posts on Facebook. So I saw you got some early extra credit in there for 12 Monkeys. So yeah, we're definitely gonna have to do 12 Monkeys for next week's, I think. Yeah, Psycho Remake was pointless. I remember there was a night I was hanging out with a bunch of friends, and they all want to go to the movies, and there was a Pixar movie out at the time. Might have been Bug's Life. And everyone was arguing about what they wanted to go see, and there was like a good half of us that wanted to go see Psycho, and I'm like, no way, screw you guys, I'm not paying money to go see that Psycho remake. And I was like, full on, like, I'm boycotting this, I'm making a stand, I have principles. And I did end up seeing it bootlegged. A friend of mine gave me a copy of his on VHS, but I don't even think it was legit. I think he worked at a video store or something. He had made a dupe or something of a screener they got in. So yeah, I never gave Gus Van Sant my money for his movie, but I did see it eventually, and yeah, it was a remake. When are they going to give us Encino Man 2? I don't know. That's a good question. Good times. Yeah, Bill and Ted 3, man. I keep hearing more and more things, more and more announcements. I heard about the villain guy. I haven't seen him in much, but he definitely had the look. So I'm psyched for that. It's funny, a friend of mine at work keeps getting freaked out about the concept of that because he's so into Keanu Reeves as John Wick that he can't even imagine him going back to Ted Theodore logo. Psycho 98, crap film school, pet art museum piece is pure filth. Yeah, man, I no inkling to pick that up on. I know a lot of people that pick up it on LaserDisc because it's part of the Universal Signature Collection, but I don't need to be a completist because there's some other stuff. I mean, I don't really need EdTV, I don't think, or For Richer or Poorer. I don't know. I wouldn't mind getting Last Starfighter. And what else am I missing from the Signature Collection? Obviously the Frighteners, but that thing's ridiculous now. And what else? One of the Ram pictures come back. Yeah, I don't know if they're one of those things that got kicked around to 20 other companies and are now a subsidiary of somebody. But it's probably one of those things like Lionsgate bought Vestron, that sort of thing. Cover some funny bad movies like Troll 2, The Room, Samurai Cop. Man. All right. Well, we'll keep it film school for now, and then we'll go straight up crazy garbage. In fact, I got a great one, but I don't know if anybody has it. So, but if you've seen Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter, just know that's going to be a homework assignment someday in the future. It's like I should have asked because late release or full Blu-ray. But why do I need MTV? Exactly. Oh man, was there a DTS release of that? That would be one of those things too, where people would like pay $80 for a DTS copy of it, and you got to get the Signature Collection too. Yeah, there's been some firework action. In fact, I'm surprised it's rather calm right now. But everybody's like getting all fired up for July 4th, like way early over here. Yeah, I've been hearing just pop, 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 and it's always play that game of guns or fireworks. Yeah. Yeah, the Signature Collection set. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll probably be a non-completist, but because there's a few I don't really care about. But there's a lot of good, like, cheap ones you can pick up too. Video Connoisseur got that Doors of the Lenticular. Ooh, and the Platoon, nice. Enjoy those. Those are gorgeous box sets. I still need to get the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That's Pioneer Special Edition. That thing's gorgeous. And TV is full bitrate DTS DVD. Nice. All right, I can believe Plan 9's From Outer Space is one of the greatest films ever. Because if you don't think that, then you're stupid. I've seen a Riff Tracks live version of that, which is pretty fun. So it's more enjoyable watching it that way. I do love some Ed Wood. Maybe not all of his movies proper, but at least the movie Ed Wood. Good times. So yeah, did anybody else other than Rod end up checking out Elephant Man? I don't know if is it on it's got to be a Blu-ray of that by now, right? Is it available or on streaming or something like that? I think Brad watched it on LaserDisc, which is probably just all pan and scan, I think. I don't think there was a widescreen version on LaserDisc, which is a bummer. Man. 8-Track Master in the house. What is up? You know, I don't think I have any pit art LDs. I know there's a lot of anime titles that have some pit art, but I'm trying to think. I've got some vinyl releases with etchings on the sides, but I don't have any pit art LDs. I should get Sean to send me some. I know he's got some. Someone's talking favorite Burton movies. Wow, damn. That's a tough one. So many options. Yeah, and there's like the nostalgic pull of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, because that was like my first Burton movie and totally fell in love with it. And then Batman Returns. That's way up there. Yeah, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Ed Wood, Batman Returns. They're probably all neck and neck. Then like right in the tier below that, like Edward Scissorhands, Big Fish. That was one of his newer films that I loved. Sleepy Hollow is like almost on the edge. Like it's almost there. Elephant Man or Eraser. Yeah, did anybody watch Eraserhead too? I forgot to ask that. Yeah. Red did Pan Scan LD. Oh, there was a Japanese widescreen release. Nice. Excellent. Yeah, the older ET, the original CAV box. That's what I hear too. Is that the left and right channels are switched, which I don't have a copy of that thing, and they come across my path every once in a while. But since I have the Signature Universal Big Beast, I've never gotten around to picking it up. And plus, like I don't really want to see if the left and right tracks are switched that badly, I guess. But I think the standalone, the CLV version, I haven't heard anybody complain about the tracks being switched on that. I think it's just the CAV box, but whatever. Yeah, Pee-wee's Playhouse as a kid. Yeah, I watched the HBO special. That was like classic, and then when Playhouse came out, I watched it all the time. I was a big fan of Jambi, Mechaleka Hi, Mecha Heiny Ho. Classic stuff. Miss Wyvon. I haven't seen Eraserhead out yet. I ended up watching that again. I really realized how crappy my my Korean DVD of Eraserhead is. You know, at the time, I got it just because it wasn't really available, but it's pretty low grade. Like here I am complaining about transfer, but yeah, there's a lot of macro blocking, and yeah, it doesn't really have a lot of depth to it. But you know, it's better than what I saw on cable back in the day. But I definitely want to step up to some Criterion Eraserhead. But yeah, it's definitely out there. What's Compete got? Ed Wood, Batman Returns, solid. Oh, Sean's in the house. I was just talking about you, Sean. You've got some laser pit art stuff on LaserDisc, right? On some of your anime releases. I know you've told me about them before. I don't mind surrealist stuff. It's a bit out there for me. The one thing about David Lynch that I appreciate is that at least his surrealist stuff means something to him. Yeah, there's the guys that are just being weird just to be weird, but there's at least, if it's all dream logic or whatever, it's dream logic that means something to him. So it's not just him being show offy and just throwing everything against the wall just to see if it sticks, or really just being indulgent. It's just, it really does mean something to him. So I appreciate that aspect of it, even if his stuff gets a little stranger. Totally changes the subject, but opinion of the Dune film remake thing. I'm on board. Villeneuve won me over with Blade Runner 2049, so I'm willing to go on this ride with him. So I'm cool with that. I mean, it's still not going to negate my David Lynch Dune copies, so I can still enjoy those. But I'm cool with it. I'm actually excited because it'll be interesting to see how it's kind of reimagined. And we'll find out if Muad'Dib is still a killing word. Some baby in a box. Yeah, man, the baby in a Eraserhead is still some tough stuff, man. There's one, like, the effects are really decent. Like, I mean, it's low rent, but it's effective, and it still like comes off like rather effective today. And so it's not like, it doesn't get hokier. And I don't know, man. It's rough. Yeah, Lynch was on at least a short list to direct Return of the Jedi, which is funny because just think of that. It's really, I was thinking about that with Elephant Man. I guess we can sideline it to full on David Lynch territory, but yeah, it's interesting to think of like the people that they wanted to get involved with Return of the Jedi, and that David Lynch would be one of those. But yeah, the Elephant Man was this like kind of really fascinating turn of events, especially because he was trying to make a film hot on the heels of Eraserhead called Ronnie Rocket, and Ronnie Rocket would have been just as weird, if not more, than Eraserhead. And it was going to have Michael Anderson as the titular guy, Ronnie Rocket. What's interesting, it starts off with a guy in a hospital bed. It's like got Elephant Man kind of echoes, even though it was written before he took on Elephant Man. And there's even Ronnie Rocket yells human being at one point, which is part of a important phrase yelled about in this film. But yeah, so he was going to put together this movie Ronnie Rocket, and Michael Anderson was going to play the titular guy, who is this dude that gets shanghaied by a bunch of surgeons, and they hook him up with this electrical alternating current unit, and Killer Criterion. I still don't have Killer Criterion. I need to get that sucker. Oh, somebody just published a review of Elephant Man. That's bizarre. Yeah, that's impressive. Yeah, I was thinking about too the speaking of Elephant Man and From Hell. It's really fascinating this being so tied in with Jack the Ripper. You know, similar like around Whitechapel neighborhoods. A lot of it takes place in the same kind of era and the same area. So it's interesting how these two like iconic historical characters kind of came from the same neighborhood at the same time. Yeah, that is a Godfather 1901 to 1980 box. Yeah, I picked that up from a lot a couple of years ago. It was awesome. I was psyched to have it. And then of course right next to it is the THX widescreen reissues, which they didn't put a spine on there, so it just looks like a black case. But yeah, Elephant Man was just fascinating because David Lynch was going to go even deeper into his weirdness realm. And yeah, Ronnie Rocket was eventually turns into a rock and roll star, and he just like shrieks and sends electricity going on, and it has a very Lynchian story about different realms and this donut guy and this kind of like mob boss guy who's running electricity backwards and causing all sorts of a ruckus, and he keeps picking from it in all his later movies, like the cowboy from Mulholland Drive. His talk with Justin Theroux's character is very reminiscent of some Ronnie Rocket dialogue between this detective character and one of the people he meets on his path. But it's really strange stuff. It would be just as strange as the other one Saliva Bubble, that David Lynch wrote with Mark Frost that never got made. But yeah, he was supposed to put that together, and then it just wasn't happening. And this fell in his hands because of Jonathan Sanger, the producer, having the script. And interesting too that David Lynch knew to kind of get out of the way of the script, and he was involved in some rewriting, but he knew that it was effective, and he didn't really mess with it. And so yeah, it's one of those things where he was able to inject a lot of himself visually into it, but he was really savvy about not getting the story all twisted when it worked rather well. And yeah, like as Xenon Z Cat mentions, it's pretty fascinating that these big high profile, art house mainstream movies were dropping in 1980 in black and white. Like, how many black and white movies? Like, the 80s was ushering in this very vibrant neon landscape, and of course you got these really gorgeous black and white films coming out. And yeah, it makes sense that it would be black and white following hot on the heels of the black and white Eraserhead, but Lynch was actually prepared to go make color films, and Ronnie Rocket specifically mentions colors in the script for that. So yeah, it just happened to work rather well. And it's so fascinating that David Lynch didn't think he was necessarily the right guy for the job. And Full Metal Cowboy got an LD player for $40. Nice. Which player did he get? Inquiring minds want to know. I'll take a trip to Twin Peaks. I've never gone out to Snoqualmie or go out to Washington State, so now I've got family out there. I might as well do it. And then yeah, the fact that David Lynch became attached to the Elephant Man, and then it lands in the hands of Mel Brooks. It's like, Mel Brooks is launching Brooks Films, and he doesn't want to put his name on it because he doesn't want people to think, if you loved High Anxiety, you're going to love the Elephant Man. It was just like this real kind of synergy going on in the creation of that film. And it doesn't have a lot of the usual people that David Lynch either used. Jack Nance, obviously he was going to get involved, but John Hurt ended up playing the titular Elephant Man, who's known as John Merrick within this, but later people realized that his name was Joseph Merrick, and that Frederick Treves, the doctor played by Anthony Hopkins in the film, changed his name to John in his memoirs for some reason. But I remember being fascinated with the Elephant Man when I was a kid. This and for like historical moments, like it was the Elephant Man and the Titanic were like my thing when I was a kid. Probably because Raise the Titanic had come out, and I don't know, I was just fascinated by like Victorian / Edwardian periods, and there was a lot of there was a lot of great stuff, on TV and everything that I kept tripping across, and it was, I don't know, just kind of fired up my imagination. So I wanted to check it out in theaters, but I was too young, and I don't know. I didn't see it until it came out on video, or probably cable when I saw it. And yeah, I remember it freaking me out, like especially the opening montage. I mean, there's plenty of Lynch in it, and plenty of images that harken or that are harken back to this film from later stuff. It's funny how this film kind of closes on a star field with a beautiful woman speaking to you, and then Dune picks up with a starfield and a beautiful woman speaking to you, and then just there's like a couple like haunting images of Merrick's mother that's very Laura Palmer-esque in their usage, but the opening's got this montage of his mother being assailed or just scared by elephants, but like it was the kind of the same thing where my roommates I took to go see Blue Velvet thought they saw Frank Booth doing horrible things that you didn't actually see, and their mind was filling in the blanks. And same thing for me when I was a kid. I was just like filling in the blanks, like what the elephants were doing to his mom, and it gets into this whole kind of weird psychology that, and it makes sense for the inclusion in this film, because there's this theory that Joseph Merrick his body was deformed because of what happened to his mom. And as a kid, I'm like, what is that? If you get stomped on by an elephant, you turn into an elephantine creature? Like it just made child logic to me. I'm like, that's weird. I got to make sure I don't get stomped on by an elephant. Just like I saw the movie, and I thought if you got gas spilled on you that you turned into a snake, because I misunderstood some major parts of that film. Anyways, so I was having a hard time wrapping my head around the logic of it. But there was this actual belief at the time that which kind of again taps into like a Cronenbergian aspect that like he exposed in The Brood, the whole idea of the primal scream, like kind of creating manifestations in the body, that there could be psychological trauma that would actually manifest. You couldn't, your mind couldn't deal with it, so it would actually explode out of you in physical form. And from what I had heard, Joseph Merrick actually believed in that as being his malady. Like, and the fact that there wasn't any actual scientific answer at the time, and people still kind of go back and forth between a few different answers nowadays, and keep studying his remains, which are available for viewing and study. So it makes sense that they would just kind of keep that concept going in here, and don't really get into like what it is or what. And Treves knows well enough that he can't cure him. But the DVD looks pretty fantastic. It's gorgeous widescreen, 2.35:1. So it's a bit of a shock coming from Eraserhead, which is a very squarish film. And holy cow, doesn't the opening montage remind you of the electricity scenes of the latest Twin Peaks? Yeah, there was a few things in here that reminded me of Twin Peaks: The Return in particular. It's funny how like it's not that he's reutilizing the same things or he's got a limited bag of tricks, but there are these kind of things that echo in his filmography. And but this one is like essentially his most accessible, probably along with the Straight Story, and at the least like outright Lynchian. But again, like I was saying, he didn't think if you hate LaserDisc, that means you suck. I should make that onto a t-shirt. Let's go steal his remains. It's like the new National Treasure 3, International Treasure. You're gonna steal Joseph Merrick's bones in his life cast. But the fascinating thing is the special features on the DVD actually show you some of the like the imagery from the makeup effects that were done, and they actually look great in color. Christopher Tucker's makeup is, you can actually see it, and some of the there's like a Polaroid shot or something. It actually looks gorgeous, and grotesque but gorgeous in those shots. So it's funny that they did it in black and white to kind of obscure the illusion, to make it a little bit more believable. But yeah, John Hurt really, he does actually come on. There's a couple points where you're like, oh yeah, that is John Hurt. Like he's still. You hear a lot about actors complaining about being buried in makeup, or we were talking about Tim Curry being upset that the last part of him that he thought he had for Darkness was his eyes, and then Ridley Scott ended up putting those scleroid lenses and took that last inch of him away, and how he's still able to like bring his performance out. But I know Lynch was saying in particular that even though there was that case of the actor getting buried, because I know the play that a lot of people thought this was an adaptation of because it hit in the late 70s, but it wasn't. This was like a direct adaptation of Treves' book and a couple other key write-ups about Joseph Merrick. And then, but the play apparently, if I've never seen it, but apparently no one plays Merrick as a made-up character. It's just you have to act as if you are, afflicted with an Elephant Man-esque visage, but yeah, you just kind of act it out, and you don't get buried under piles and piles of makeup. And in this film, they did. They went for it, and but Lynch was saying there was that kind of tipping point, whereas as he was just sitting there for hours and hours and hours, that like it became real. It did that, that turn where it helped him become the character. So it was important apparently for that regard. But let me get down here. But it's profoundly sad. I remember as a kid too, just it tapped into that the melancholy feeling of it, and I just remember there was like kaiju movies that like made me all sad when I was a kid. So this thing like really tapped into that melancholy spirit, and made me want to become Morrissey, but I didn't. And yeah, what else did we miss? Gotta stop. Altered States. Ooh, dude, Altered States is so good. But yeah, Anthony Hopkins. It's funny how this movie parallels a lot of Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula, especially in the kind of like throwback filmmaking style. There's a lot of episodic moments in this film, and the editing is very episodic, and it just kind of, a scene will end and just perfunctorily just transition to another scene, and it's got a real kind of classicist vibe about it. And I really feel there's like a kinship between Treves in this film and Van Helsing and Dracula. Like there really could be the same guy or very similar, but Anthony Hopkins is, I don't know, it's one of my favorite performances by him. It's a little bit more. Eventually, he was the guy that he, in the documentary for Dracula, he talks about he doesn't like coming in and doing tests, and he doesn't like doing practice and rehearsals and stuff. And you get that feeling after a while he was maybe phoning in a little bit, but he had the chops to kind of pull it off. But in this film, that scene, he tells a lot, without saying it. And the scene where he sees Merrick for the first time and sheds a tear, it's really, really powerful stuff. And freaking Soap from Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels in there too. Dexter Fletcher is Bites Boy, and oh man, Bites he's one of those characters that the guy who is the freak show hawker that is kind of pimping out Merrick in the film, played by Freddie Jones, who later played Thufir Hawat in Dune, one of the few people that kind of crossed over into Dune from this. But he's not quite a character from reality from what I've seen, and the nature of Merrick being part of the freak show circuit was a little bit different in that he was more part of it and more of a willing participant. And he was out selling goods for a long time. He was in like workhouses and then signed himself out, and actually participated in touring freak shows and actually made some money off of it. It wasn't quite the case where he was beaten into submission and treated like a like a piece of property. But it does make for some pretty effective cinema for sure. And Freddie Jones is he's such a terrifying character. But yeah, oh, what else we got in here? Ooh, we're just watching a bridge too far. Ooh, dude. But yeah, it's not that David Lynch doesn't make humanist films, but Melinda's in the house, and about to leave the house. But there's and a lot of it's in the script, but this film is a very humanist film, and it's a little bit more sentimental on the nose than most of his other products. Freddie Francis also straight story stuff too. So great work out. The cinematography in the film is fantastic. And I'd love to have it on Blu-ray, but the this DVD actually it looks gorgeous. And just seeing it in 2.35:1 for the first time. Well, not for the first time because I watched that DVD on and off since. When did I get this? 2000 maybe? 2001. But yeah, it's just gorgeous. The framing is impressive. I mean, there's a lot of one-on-one scenes, obviously, with Treves and Merrick, discussing his condition. But there's a lot of scenes with the staff of the hospital kind of scattered out and pieced in like very key kind of sections of the frame. It's really well thought out, and just the look of it's gorgeous. But yeah, I was saying before, it was funny that Lynch didn't necessarily think he was the guy for this. But it's like Victorian London really doesn't feel that far from the vibe of Eraserhead. And I guess it wasn't until he was actually in the hospital where they'd be filming where he realized, and I love the sound design again. I don't know if Alan Splitt, I think Alan Splitt was involved in it again, who he worked with doing the sound on Eraserhead, where there's this kind of droning industrial soundscape like throughout most of it. And this one captures a lot of that too, from the work going on in the streets to this like kind of constant hiss of the gas lamps that are lighting the place. And there's a lot of weird kind of motion in the streets too, like this the industry that's going on is it's almost sinister. It almost makes me think of in The Exorcist, in the early scenes, how there's this weird element of danger to all of the work that's going on. And that one was captured too with like the interesting frame rate, so everything looks a little like hyper aggressive. And there's a lot of this too, like everybody working on the streets. There's this feeling of danger lurking around the corner. There's even some other like kind of moments that made me think of Dune. There's these guys like, there was like a gun factory or something. I don't know what they're pounding. Like they were like pounding things that made me flash forward to the thumpers in Dune. But yeah, it's so funny that he was, I guess, just wrapped up in the whole time period aspect of it. Like he didn't feel that he could properly capture the 1800s. But then once he was in that room and kind of realized that, no, this is like London industrial nightmare is pure David Lynch, that he took ownership of it. And right, yeah, I mean, he is the guy to do the job for sure. But I guess it just took him a meaning to figure that out. Video connoisseur is heading out. Well, thanks for tuning in for a little bit. Get some sleep. For sure. Rod's got a D-mod. Nice. Ooh, was it Sony processor? Nice. But yeah, it's the finale of the film is profoundly sad and but in this weird way where it's triumphant at the same time. Reminds me a lot of Gattaca, not in terms of plot, but in the way that it's got this ending that's like a gut punch, even though it's like not all terrible. Like there's like an element of hope to it. There's this triumphant kind of the triumph of the human spirit. That there's that going on, and there's a lot of that in this too. Like there's this this feeling of dignity that the characters gained, but it's just like so sad on top of that. It's really intense stuff. I remember that just crushing me when I was a kid, and it's one of those things, just kind of haunts you and always think about forever. But yeah, if you haven't seen the film, and for some strange reason, if you hadn't heard about the Elephant Man, he was a real character in London in the 1800s named Joseph Merrick, who sometimes is erroneously called John Merrick. but he was part of the freak show, which was falling out of favor at the time, but ended up falling under the care of a doctor named Frederick Treves, who kind of went above and beyond the call of duty. And at that time, you weren't supposed to care for people that were quote unquote incurables. And Merrick ended up kind of capturing the attention of high society. And I like how it really kind of gets into that notion of, exploitation and what is and what isn't. And, Anthony Hopkins puts it all on the screen. So it's all there in the subtext and his performance, that concept of, taking this guy off the streets and then showing him, exploiting him and kind of showing him to all of your peers, and kind of like bringing him for show and tell is also a form of exploitation. And it's really not that much different than sticking him on stage and asking people to, pony up, a pound to come and, stare at this guy. Spencer was saying it's similar to Truffaut's Wild Child. All right, I'll have to check that out. It's on the list. What does it go? 2001, the Starfield. Yeah, the Star Child. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, and it's got the Lord Tennyson poem in there too, and it's like it's like a hopeful poem, but oof, it's just tough, man. But yeah, there's that whole concept of, what is exploitation, and even as high society is finding themselves enraptured by Merrick, there's these people that are kind of injecting themselves into his life, and you get the feeling that they're keeping up with the Joneses. Yeah, and Bancroft, who Mrs. Mel Brooks herself is in the film, and yeah, she's one of the ones that feels kind of genuine, which is nice. She plays a real life actress named Madge Kendall, who did a lot of Shakespearean efforts, and she seems actually connected with Merrick. And contrary to popular belief, in the beginning he's actually a really smart individual, and he wrote his own, or at least co-wrote his own short autobiography, and was prone to doing art and these really intricate models. In fact, some of them you could still see on display in London. So there's all these characters that are genuinely concerned for his well-being, but then there's the people that want to keep up with the Joneses and are still completely disgusted by his appearance, but they don't want to let on. It's that fascinating thing of is Treves doing the right thing by keeping him in this hospital when he can't cure him as a doctor, and nobody knows like what's wrong with this guy, and all they can do is really just kind of try and make him comfortable for his last years. And Sir John Gielgud is amazing as another real life character that you think is going to be a bit of a roadblock, but the other thing it makes me flash back to is Charlie. Another one that like really affected me as a kid was the adaptation of Flowers for Algernon with Cliff Robertson, and I remember that really just like kind of connecting with me when I was a kid. Oh, except for that weird bit where it turns into like a 60s like super psychedelic biker trip. I kind of love that part now, but it was pretty weird at the time. But yeah, it has elements of that as well. So it's largely the tale of Frederick Treves and Joseph Merrick and their relationship, and him trying to just give this guy some dignity and allow him to be treated as a man, which leads into, of course, the famous scene that's been quoted often where he lapses or is pulled back out of the hospital and goes back onto the freak show circuit, but then has to find a way back to London and is just harassed by people that are acting in a mob mentality, and not necessarily out of any malevolence. It just happens, this whole curiosity and getting a look at them and not realizing how destructive their behavior is, and he has to kind of pretty much scream out loud and let them know that he's a person, like stand back, like give this guy some room. And the other fascinating thing too is just the nature of the disease, that like there's this movie will always be timeless, because there's no even though freak shows fell out of favor and is no longer an acceptable form of entertainment. Like a person as deformed as Joseph Merrick is always going to receive pretty much the same attention, either positive and negative, in public. Like humanity hasn't changed really much at all since the time of Merrick and Jack the Ripper. They should really team up. That'd be a great killer movie. I know he wasn't from hell, but like a real team up movie. Like you find out really he's just like another serial killer. Everybody thought he was this nice guy. Yeah, but yeah. So it's always poignant. It's always current. Because and it points the finger back at the audience members often, because you have to think about yourself, like how you would react if you ran into Joseph Merrick, and would you be as benevolent and charitable as some of the characters in the film, or would you be like the creepy night porter that's trying to cash in? Man, and it's just really interesting for David Lynch. But like I said, the kind of the steam of it all, and the piping, and the black and white, and the London nature. Yeah, it's really good stuff. Oh yeah, and Blank Reg, Morgan Shepherd from Max Headroom shows up in there too, in a bar scene, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it's a heartbreaking film, but it's still upbeat and old-fashioned, but definitely not something you want to throw on a Friday night maybe. But talking about it on a Friday night is totally cool. Nobody has been as struck by it. And what's the I think the latest I'd seen is what do they call it, like Proteus syndrome or something, is the newest kind of theory that's been thrown at the world as to what he had. And there's a pretty cool documentary, I think they snagged from the BBC or something, but it's on YouTube, of a younger gentleman who has that syndrome, but again, nothing even remotely close to what Merrick had. But his feet are largely deformed, and he has a hard time walking, and the kind of pain of it all is really intense. But I mean, Merrick was, you can see the photos. There was a lot of photographic evidence, and you can actually go and see the life cast, and his bones have been preserved. So it's a real fascinating tale, and I don't know, and just always sleeping upright. I always think about that. Like every time I sleep down with just, I usually like to have a lot of pillows, and like every time I sleep with like too few pillows, I always just get that like creepy, like my neck's gonna snap feeling. Not that I have a giant head, but it's like Sputnik. But so it's really interesting that it came in that period of David Lynch's career, because he didn't have final cut on it, which is funny, which became a sticking point of his on the film immediately after this, which is funny again, because David Lynch is like, he's just his own kind of weird creature out on the outskirts of humanity. Because I mean, this led to a bad experience on Dune, and that was with Dino De Laurentiis, and Dino De Laurentiis was pretty much like the author of his pain, like the person that didn't give him final cut, and he was so angered by the television cut that he took his name and turned to the Judas Booth for the, and it took an Alan Smithy credit for the directing and Judas Booth for writing. But then he worked again with De Laurentiis on Blue Velvet, and it worked out fine. And so it's like weird. He doesn't hold those grudges like he should. But Elephant Man was like, it's like he was gunning to make another super weird Eraserhead movie, and then ended up making this very personal, biopic, but still run through with the strange kind of David Lynchian imagery, and then having it like completely lauded and get nominated for 8 Academy Awards. And again, it's so strange that it came out against Raging Bull, and they were kind of like going head to head. It did end up winning some BAFTA awards and like a César award. So and so have this super critically acclaimed moment, and it really set up David Lynch to be the guy, the guy that gets approached to do Return of the Jedi. And it's really no surprise that Raffaele gave Lynch a whole lot of hell. Nice. Which one I think is darker, Elephant Man or... I almost want to say in 1984. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, I'll go 1984. But yeah, so he worked on Dune, and then it turned into this, kind of hot mess. But of course, connected them with a ton of actors that... Yeah, exactly. 1984. We chose correctly. But the second half of it is so... what was I saying? Oh, no, the second half of 1984. So, yeah, still depressing. But, working on Dune ended up becoming this really, really horrible thing that derailed the David Lynch that could have been. And that's fine, because it's weird. It's almost from Blue Velvet on that established the Lynchian template. For a long period, he was just making movies that were... and television shows that were some sort of echo of Blue Velvet. And there's always some Eraserhead lingering in there too, but Blue Velvet was that's the prime, if Eraserhead was his Kill 'Em All, then Blue Velvet was his Master of Puppets, and that kind of established the Lynchian template. But had Dune been a major success and turned into the Star Wars of 1984, who knows what would have happened from that point on. So it's real fascinating to think about it. But yeah, it makes sense that he would get tapped to do that. At the time, it seems a little strange. David Lynch, the guy that did Eraserheads, doing this big budget sci-fi movie, but Elephant Man was definitely a stepping stone along the way. But it's funny, Elephant Man doesn't get talked about a lot, partly because it's not so shot through with Lynch's DNA. Fritz Lang's M, nice one. Serial Killer Friends, right? That flick is so ahead of its time. Oh man, Ordinary People. Pete had to bring it up. I know, right? Yeah, Raging Bull. Yeah, Raging Bull and Elephant Man going up against it, and then Ordinary People ends up winning. Come on. Such crap. Yeah, everyone's always talking about Ordinary People nowadays. That's always... I'm going to watch the Criterion tonight. But yeah, so I don't know. It's this really, really well-made film that doesn't get talked about as much because it's not as, incredibly Lynchian like Blue Velvet is and some of his other films. And like I said before, Lost Highway is my favorite David Lynch film. But yeah, 12 Monkeys is definitely this week's film. So get ready, everybody. We're going to do it up strong and hard, and we're going to cosplay as Bruce Willis or Jeffrey Goins. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so hopefully if everyone was forced to watch Elephant Man, or if anybody did, they enjoyed it in some fashion. But yeah. Oh, the poster art too. The poster art is so iconic. It's reminds me of the Exorcist poster. I mean, this is a little truncated, but it's it just jumps right out at you. It's killer stuff. But yeah, it's so not uniquely Lynchian, even though it does have so much of his thumbprint on it that Rod wants to watch again. Which one? This or 12? You got to watch them both again. Yeah, you can totally watch 12 Monkeys again. And watch the Hamster Factory documentary if you want. I don't have the Lost Highway LD. I do have a very nice rot-free copy of the American LD that Mr. Vincent Honorati hooked me up with. There's actually multiple pressings of... yeah, Strictly Sick. Elephant Man is definitely a deep cut because, one, it's not as widely available as a lot of Lynch's stuff. So, and again, I only own one copy of it when I own multiples of most of his other flicks. But yeah, there's multiple pressings of Lost Highway. So Polygram did that a lot. They kind of pressed the... Was it Universal? Not Universal. Usual Suspects, I think, was another one of theirs. So they got multiple pressings. And... but yeah, so that looks good. But I do want to get the Japanese LD. I have the Japanese DVD of the same release. But it's weird too because it comes in a little CD case instead of the usual DVD case because Japanese DVDs were into that for a bit there. Alphabet. You don't have to. You don't have to eat a spider, but you get bonus points if you do. All right. So yeah, maybe Strictly Sega can join in on the 12 Monkeys next week. But if not, we'll do something. We'll do something fun after that. I know we were going to do the 95 thing though, so I think we got to do Strange Days after. We'll do Strange Days after 12 Monkeys, and then we're gonna go we'll do some trash cinema after that. I'll find something really fun. Oh man, yeah, I've heard some of those Lost Highways rot hard. They rot long and rot hard. Oh man. Oh, Rod's doing the Dolby Digital LD signature. Good call, because I do need to watch the Arrow video. Did you watch the Arrow 12 Monkeys, or did you watch one? Because I've got the Universal Blu-ray. I've got the Arrow video Blu-ray, and then I've got the original Universal Pro Logic 2-disc CLV, and then I've got LaserDisc, and then I've got the box. So with the 5.1. So many options. Maybe I'll watch them all. And I'll listen to the soundtrack too, because I have the soundtrack. Really great soundtrack too. Oh, that was the other thing. The music in the film was, it's like John Morris did the soundtrack for Elephant Man? Yeah, John Morris. But yeah, it's got a very similar feel in ways too to Wojciech Kolar's Dracula score too. Not as kind of intense and with the strings and everything like that, but some of the more like kind of circus calliope type stuff. It's got a similar vibe to it. How many 4Ks, Blu-rays, DVDs, vinyl, etc. is 4K on? A lot. That's right. Do the original Shaft sequels. Yeah, or maybe Black Belt Jones I was talking about earlier. That'd be a good one. Yeah, we'll do some fun throwback stuff. DTS 12 Monkeys is one of the ones I'm missing. I remember at Retro World that first year I did it. Lance went running around and he snagged a couple DTS discs that one of the sellers, one of the vendors had. Fist bump, trash cinema. Yeah, and I was like, damn it, DTS 12 Monkeys. I mean, I don't need it, but I want it. Who can say no to another classic DTS disc? I don't think I'll ever be DTS LD complete like some of the other guys I know, but again, there'll be some of those movies. Who needs Ed TV? Not to say that, Ed TV is not a fantastic movie. I don't even remember if they did a DTS port, but there's some movies where I'm like, do I really need that in DTS? But, obviously Lost World and Jurassic Park. Yes, I do. But, Freddy's in the house. What's going on? Yeah, I'm mostly talking about David Lynch and Elephant Man. A little bit Eraserhead, but we'll save a proper Eraserhead discussion for later. But holy cow, that movie. That was one of those things that I remember hearing about as a kid, and it's like I knew it was a cult movie, so it was one of those movies I wanted to like it going into it. And DTS Demon Knight, that would be the balls. Spencer's got 5 or 6 4Ks. Yeah, that's how it starts. Very small. That's how it always starts. Yeah, for a while there, I just had Blade Runner 2049, and then they just keep multiplying in the night. But yeah, Eraserhead was one of those movies where I really wanted to get it. So I kind of brought my all when I finally saw it on, I don't know what it was. It was TMC or somebody, and it was shown on cable as cult movie night. And we're gonna want to show this crazy ass movie, and I was like, wow, this is intense, and it freaked me out for sure. The baby completely freaked me out, as it still does, and some of the imagery in there is just nightmare fuel for sure. But it's still watchable. It really, Jack Nance is so great, and you just can't take your eyes away from what's going on. Yeah, even as strange as some of it is, but. Yeah, I'd love to get that Criterion Blu-ray and take that for a spin. I'm taking there's some special features on there, hopefully. We shall see. Rod's got about 60 or so 4Ks. Yeah, I don't know how many UHDs I have now. I should really take a count. Because I just keep kind of picking them up bit by bit, and then I'm not really paying attention. So, eventually, if it's cheap in DTS, it is mine, right? Yeah, I was so psyched to get Strange Days for $20. Favorite DTS disc is tough because on the one hand, it's got to be Jurassic Park because Jurassic Park is a house destroyer. But now that I have Strange Days, that's up there. And what else do I have? That Last Man Standing was one of my earlier favorites because that was just one of my earlier DTS discs. But yeah, like I was saying before, Lost World, I almost enjoy the mix more than Jurassic Park, even though I enjoy Jurassic Park more than I enjoy the Lost World as a film. But the mix is even more balanced in Lost World. But the Jurassic Park release is still just kind of this benchmark, even though, like we said before, some of the levels aren't quite right, and the LFE is hot and the surrounds are hot, but it's just such a force to be reckoned with. It really is like a T-Rex of sound mixes, and just hearing it for the first time, because the old CAV box set is fantastic. I mean, that thing destroyed my old house I used to rent, and I always remember you saying you like Captain Marvel but hated Temple of Doom. I will haunt you for the rest of your life. Hey man, I'll stand by it. Yeah, a friend of mine saw Eraserhead on rental VHS. It's out there. It's on my to-do list. Yeah, it's one of those movies like Tetsuo the Iron Man. It's kind of like almost like a chore because you hear about like how out there it is, but like you kind of want to see it just because you got to see it, But yeah, Eraserhead's an interesting flick. It's so fascinating, like how much of relationship and parenthood traumas worked into the early works of David Lynch and David Cronenberg, like seeing The Brood, and just interest. It's just like those guys were like making films that should have been made like a little bit farther along in their career, like subject matter wise. Mizo Otaku's in the house. What's up? Demon Knight, watching that on Halloween after trick or treating. Dude, that's the coolest. Yeah, I caught that a couple times in the theater. That was one of those ones I saw with my buddy, and then like I dragged out my other friends to go see it again later. I'm like, you gotta see it. Billy Zane's in it. It's cool, and it's got Pantera on the soundtrack. it's super awesome. Mortal Kombat. Yeah, I don't have that on DTS. I gotta get that. True Lies, I don't have either. Freaking hell. Need to get some more DTS. Yeah, slowly is great. Yeah, The Shadow is obviously on my list. Oh yeah, and I didn't even mention Golden and freaking Tomorrow Never Dies. Tomorrow Never Dies is tight. But yeah, The Shadow, I used to love even just the PCM mix. I saw that in the theaters, and the sound of The Shadow's voice. Did you think I wouldn't know? Kind of whispering all around you. So cool. I freaking love that movie. Rod's gonna watch Speed DTS. Nice. Cheers. You're a scholar and a gent. 4K box set of Close Encounters where you have the button where you can play the 5 tones. Yeah, I never upgraded from my Blu-ray box, which is fantastic looking actually. So maybe I'll do that at some point. Yeah, Shadow and the Phantom were like a great 1-2 punch. Shadow was 94, Phantom was 96. Shadow's my favorite of the two, just because I'm like a Shadow radio play super fan. But the Phantom was a lot of fun. I have not seen Evil Dead Trap, but yes, that is also on my gotta watch list. Yeah, Evil Dead Trap is on there. I still haven't seen it. Phantom AC3 is great. Yeah, sadly the Blu-ray is. Yeah, I don't have it on anything but LD, so I guess I'll keep rocking that 5.1 track. Yeah, see, there you go. The Close Encounters Blues are too dark and processed. Yep, that's it. I should burn them and stomp on them and sacrifice them to the gods. And even though I watched them, I was like, holy crap, this looks amazing. But again, what the crap do I know? I dropped it, tore my own face off, and someone else was underneath. Oh man, Penelope Ann Miller and Alec Baldwin just have that freaking like Howard Hawksian back and forth. It's so cool. I love it. John Lone, he's the coolest. All right, yeah, we're gonna have to do The Shadow sometime. As we're doing 90s movies, so we'll have to jump back to 94, do some Shadow. 94 is a good one too. We could rock some Crow. We could rock some No Escape. There's a lot of good flicks in 94. Good rock some Speed. Rod's already ready for that. Oh, yes. How can I forget The Rocketeer? Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, The Rocketeer is like ground zero for that whole thing. Shadow was just kind of coming on the heels of it. That's a nice little trifecta right there. Yeah, I was lucky enough to catch The Rocketeer in cinemas too. At least once. Maybe twice. Did I see that twice? But, yeah. I was also maybe a particular fan of one of the particular people in the cast. I probably shouldn't say out loud. Just saying. Yeah, David Koepp. It was doing some kick-ass stuff at the time. Yeah, Alec Baldwin, man. Yeah, Lamont Cranston was my boy. And Tim Curry's just so insane in that flick, too. Love it. Yeah, we should definitely cover some 94 Shadow. It is the balls. Yeah, The Rocketeer was one of those ones I had on LD. I didn't really love the transfer because it was really noisy. A lot of chroma noise on there. I should revisit it. I don't know if I have it anymore. I probably got rid of my copy. I wonder if I got a replacement. I should probably get that. Yeah, Dick Tracy I would add, but I don't really like... I didn't really like Dick Tracy. I should probably revisit that. I wanted to like Dick Tracy, but I didn't. I wasn't really into Warren Beatty, which is weird because I really love Lilith, which is like one of my favorite movies of all time. And he's in that. And he just stares at the camera a lot in that too. Like he does in a lot of his stuff. It's weird. He's just like... He's okay in the right flick. And, of course, Bonnie and Clyde's fine and everything. But, the LaserDisc documentary. That should still be up there. I'll have to, the LaserDisc Essentials one, right? With the whole kind of, story from the olden times. Yeah, that should be around. I'll look for it and put a link. Everyone wants to like Dick Tracy, right? I mean, come on. Hot on the heels of Batman, you got killer cast, you got Madonna's in there. Maybe that's good. Yeah. Dustin Hoffman stuff, that was fun, but I don't know. You catch Rocketeer on rental VHS. Yeah, the Rocketeer, man, that connected with me for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of 90s stuff set in the 30s, right? It's just one of those things. Yeah, it was like this vibe. It's like I was listening to old radio plays, but it just came alive. But yeah, actually, thanks for mentioning that, Freddie, because I really need to get more of that series going, and that's been the albatross around my neck for some time to get that series completed. I've been working frantically behind the scenes to actually get some future episodes of that going on. Yeah, Al Pacino. All right. And that's one of those things, if I get Dick Tracy on LaserDisc, I'll probably be softer on it. I don't know why. It's just like, if it's 90s, like I've got a little bit of a kind of give and take, a little bit of soft spot for that stuff now. So I'll check it out again. I've never seen Bugsy, so maybe I'll check that out. That's another one. I'll fire that up. We're on what pulp character would you like to see get a new movie? That's a good question. Of course, I'd love to see more Shadow stuff, but yeah, damn. Oh, Zorro stuff. Once I just found some of the original Zorro pumps to go with the Oh, nice. Damn. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anybody else that I'd be like, I want to see a movie of that. But yeah, I'll think of one. I was just thinking about how I co-wrote a radio play that I never got to make, as a throwback to the old Shadows and all that stuff, called The Ends of the Earth, that I co-wrote with this guy that I do a radio show with. And it was like this mix of like kind of Rocketeer-ish, because there was a little bit of an airplane, airplane circus kind of stunt show thing going on there. But then there was like this Lovecraftian secret society element going on. Definitely crossed over in some shadowy stuff because there was some stuff in Tibet, and yeah, it was going to be fun, but we never got a full cast, and we just wrote it, and it just lingered and died, withered on the vine. But yeah, we had like quite a few episodes going on it, but oh well. It could have been the new Venture Brothers or something like that. It was deep. The mythology was running deep. The family of the creator LD. Yeah, actually, David Paul Gregg. His family, his grandchildren, his daughter, reached out, and they thought it was really cool that I did a video talking about their grandfather or father. So I thought that was awesome. I was waiting for them to be like, "You got it wrong, buddy. We're suing your ass." So I was completely surprised. Now I haven't talked to him recently, but I've been meaning to put out the feelers because I'd love to see his work. They've got a lot of his original papers and the work he was putting in on the format. Even though his version of LaserDisc was, at heart a different beast than the one that was made. The technology behind it was different, and the results probably would have been different. So it was just a different group of people took the patent and didn't even really kind of try and reverse engineer what he did. They just took their own thing and did their own thing with it. But yeah, I'd love to see all those original papers and see his work. So I mean, it might have to do a road trip at some point and get back out to the West Coast because they're all in California. But yeah, definitely. Oh man, I would love to do a proper LaserDisc documentary at some point. But I would actually want to get a real producer, right hand man, to do that because I don't want to I don't want to deal with all the ramifications. I mean, obviously getting everything together, but all the travel and everything like that. It'd be great to have somebody else partnered up on that angle, so I didn't have to drive myself crazy. But yeah, I'd love to do a proper globe. Like I saw the one about the cassette tape recently that bent the ears of a lot of Philips inventors, and so there's no equivalent to a LaserDisc out there, and there's enough of an audience that would be a fun thing, even if it just winds up on Amazon or something like that as a curiosity piece. There should be a documentary on it, but yeah, but it'd be obviously you can get a lot done in California, so that would help. And I'd want to visit as many of the locations of the pressing plants as possible, even though nobody's up and running. And then obviously the big finale would be traveling to Japan to do some proper pioneer discussions and find the pressing plants there. So it would definitely be it would be quite the undertaking. But a trip to California would help. Stay there for a couple of weeks. You could really get some laser icons and get some good stuff in the can. But yeah, it'd be a lot of work, but it'd be great. Somebody needs to do that. So let's do it. Let's make someone out there. You got to be a producer. Give me a call. We're gonna put this LaserDisc movie together. Well, who's Ben Kingsley? I've never heard of this guy. Let's see it. Bugsy. Yes. I guess I'm gonna have to check that out. And it's a longer cut on DVD, so nice. And I've never powered all the way through Reds. I remember trying to watch it when I was a kid. Ishtar I saw, though. Pilgrimage to the Pressing Plants, right? It'd be fun. It's funny, Seth, who's not online, but our buddy from Sweden, who is, let's visit DADC Rod City and throw a bunch of rotted discs back at them. Be amazing. But Seth is traveling to Austria, so he was actually tempted to go try and find the DADC Austria plant and take a selfie or something. Can you sign off on these? But that'd be cool. I'd love to get involved in a project like that, just because we need more LaserDisc content, right? I mean, if nobody's making more LaserDiscs or LaserDisc players, Again, there was that thread that popped up, as they often do on LDF, about who's going to make some sick LDs, and then that usually turns into a big thread of there's no active plants, you would need millions of dollars. So kiss Rot City. Terre Haute Rot City. There's always somebody asking about when are they going to bring back LDs and when are they going to bring back the players and everything like that. And someone's like, when I'm a millionaire, I'm going to make a plant. So we're just waiting for that millionaire to start doing it. Got to lose your film in DIDC Rot City. Oh man, yeah, that'd be great. Get Kiss involved. Speaking of which, I still own Kiss and the Phantom of the Park on LaserDisc. Get everybody check your player. Get up. Everybody got to check your player. Oh, man. Yeah, I sense a music video coming out in the future. Oh, man. But yeah, so that's food for thought. We'll do some LaserDisc film action, and it'll be the next biggest thing since sliced bread. Have I watched? Yeah, I was trying to think of watching good documentaries lately. Get down, everybody got to find their receipt. DC, Rot City. Yeah, I did watch that documentary on, I think it was on Netflix, about Robert Johnson. That was pretty cool. It was shorter than I was expecting. Maybe it was only an hour or something, but that was pretty cool. Late at night, I like to fire up the documentaries. Let's bring back Tower Records. Oh, man, I love those freaking, I think they're called 1990 Tower Records on YouTube, but they're not. They're from 1993. But there's like a couple videos of Tower Records New York, and I love those freaking videos. I can watch them all over again. That and John Rotan's got another video of just like kind of the state of LaserDisc from early 90s, and he knew some guys at some record stores or video stores that were hustling LaserDiscs, and he hangs out with them for a while and asks them about what's going on, and they show off some Sony MDP-333 players, and yeah, it's cool stuff. I love watching those videos. And of course, Zaran Isaac's old video about LaserDisc when he was showing off the one he got from like a Rent-A-Center or whatever, and had Blade Runner Criterion, and was like blowing. Man, that was like the coolest thing ever back in the day. I didn't even have the Blade Runner Criterion. I had the director's cut when that came out, but it's like, you were the coolest dude ever if you had a widescreen freaking version of Blade Runner on LaserDisc back in the day. That is the coolest. So shout outs to Sean, aka Zaran Isaac. I know he was part of LaserDisc forever for a little bit, but I don't think he really watches them that much anymore. But his LD videos are classics. And again, it's good to see Cessnace is back, though not too much LaserDisc content, but he did do one. I think just one LaserDisc video since he came back, but yeah, LD Doco People's Collection, similar to the VHS Docos. Yeah, no, there's a lot of VHS stuff out there. It'd be great to have some LD stuff, for sure. And plus, there's some good collectors out there. It'd be fun to kind of track down. And obviously, we're tapped into that community, so it'd be pretty easy to find those dudes and get something going. So, or I could just make a drama, a narrative about all the LaserDisc drama that happens on the forums. Make like a comedy drama thriller. Rod's stuff's getting featured on a web series. Nice. You will have to give us some information when that becomes a thing. I want to see your show us what you got. I want to see your collection. But yeah, there was that little piece in was it that one LA paper not too long ago. That one of the, I think it was an LDFer wrote about LaserDisc, and yeah, so it's out there. People want to hear about it, kind of. But the thing that just always bumps me out is the people that usually cover LD on, at least on YouTube, are big kind of tech personalities. So that nobody's ever coming at it from a perspective of like a real love for the format. It's a curiosity for everybody usually. So that's always like, it's cool to see it covered, especially in depth. But there's always that little bit of attitude, if not outright, like that it's a piece of crap and that people were an idiot back in the day for buying into it. Yeah. There's like a varying degree of that in all those videos. So yeah, it's like, it's too bad, because yeah, I'd love to see more where there's like a genuine love for the format, as well as like a bunch of information thrown at you. All right, nice. Mazo and Otaku's down for a dramedy about a bunch of LD nerds. Yeah, man, let's make that happen. All right, so we got a couple projects going on. Just need to get some money. All right, 4K is in for the LD doc. Let's do this thing. Nice. Now Rod's going to put up a link. Cool. Yeah, late release discs alone, man, like there's so much interesting stuff. Like the deeper you go into the kind of LD world, yeah, setups, the kind of the factions of people that are into certain things. Yeah, right. Like you could almost make a couple different documentaries or a full-on like series. The new HBO LaserDisc documentary series. Yeah, like you could do an episode just about Holy Grail's late releases and all that thing, and the movies that aren't available outside of LaserDisc, which is a ever slimming list. But yeah, you get get into all that stuff. You can get into the guys like Moikey who like don't watch anything but LaserDisc. So much you can cover because everyone's kind of coming at it from different angles. So it kind of makes for a fun documentary because you can explore all of them. Yeah, Japanese LDs. Yeah, right. You can have a whole show just about Japanese LDs and a whole show of just about obi strips. We're just going to talk about corner obies versus side obies versus top obies. Whether or not you should keep them, whether or not they hike up the resale value. I like on Facebook with thousands of people talking about Diamond Disney videos. Oh God, yeah. The dramedy about LD nerds would surely be directed by Wes Anderson. Everybody's gonna be wearing tracksuits and sweatbands, and we're gonna make the sheer amount of actual laser drama that's happened in the groups is fascinating. Like we could actually have like enough drama for a movie. Like the amount of death threats and strange kind of explosions of personalities, and it's nuts. Of course, the crazy fake dead father and the whole multiple personalities and that whole, I don't even know what to call it, but yeah, it was an amazing little period in the LDF history. It's on one of the LaserDiscotheque podcasts where we talk about it. Maybe it was episode 10. I forgot, but yeah, it's great. Kevin Smith came up with the Walrus movie. Clancy Brown, yeah, I know. Did anybody ever see Clancy Brown's LaserDisc, or was he just talking out his ass? Because he said he was like bringing all his LaserDisc to the Amoeba Records, maybe the LA store, and dropping them all there. But it'll probably still be better than the Facebook movie. Yeah. Oh man, eat our shorts, David Fincher. We're taking the Social Network down with our LaserDisc movie. Look at that Obi strip, man. That is the shit. Yeah, we'll get Clancy Brown. Yeah, definitely. You could have tons of celebrities talking about LaserDisc too, because they were all rich enough to own them back in the day, so they all have fond memories of them. So there's a lot of good stuff out there. I'm excited about this. We're gonna make this happen. It's gonna be the next biggest thing. Toy Story 5. Who cares? LaserDisc movie. That's where it's at. But yeah, drama about LD nerds would be fun. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. My wife's always like, what sort of laser drama is going on now? Any kind of niche format that has a group that kind of is just created around it always fosters some sort of insanity. Yeah, I've heard, obviously, the VHS collectors, retro game collectors are all run into all sorts of nonsense. So it could be anything, but it's fun though. Yeah, nobody's making LaserDisc collector movies. Get Kevin Bacon. Yeah, I think he still lives in Connecticut, so maybe I can go hang out with him for a bit. Get him on tap. But yeah, that'd be awesome. I need to spend no less than 50 minutes explaining filters, decoders, noise reduction, etc. Yeah, that would be actually. I should do that in the. Not even in the doc. Do that in the live action movie. Break the fourth wall like The Big Short does, and just have like someone addressing the audience directly and get into like hardcore nerding on LaserDisc. LaserDiscotheque. I would love to bring it back. It's more like I've been thinking about trying to do a podcast in some fashion, but it's more kind of getting back the cast of characters. I know we were trying to get it down. Sean and I were trying to get something together with Nick Lavelli, which would have been awesome. But it kind of just never happened. I know, Nick's always touring and doing stand up and everything like that, and but it's just, I don't know. It was even tough just getting me and Sean and Moikey like at the same time. So I think just somebody needs to go to Moikey's house and get him a little sauced, and then he will do it. We just need a bad influence to go and get him like sauced up, and then it'll happen. Sean is still down for some LD tech for sure. But yeah, it was tough because there was like another podcast named LaserDisc Tech that came out like immediately after, like we had decades with no LaserDisc podcasts, and then like immediately after we do this thing, there's another LaserDisc podcast with the exact same name. We're like, come on, give us a freaking bone here. So there's the idea too. Do we just let that die and just recast it, or recast it and let it die and kind of bring it back as something else altogether? I don't know. It's tough, but for the record, the other LaserDisc podcast doesn't really talk about the format at all. They just happen to watch movies on LaserDisc. Not to shit talk or anything, but they're not really talking LaserDisc stuff much at all. But it was fun, for sure. It was a good time. It was a pain in the ass, but trying to get everything coordinated and everything. But I'd definitely be down to do it again. Yeah, exactly. If they can make it an Adjust Your Tracking doc, you can definitely make one for LD. Yeah, Adjust Your Tracking was fun. That was a good flick. And some of there's a couple other ones on Amazon that I haven't watched, but there seems like every new day there's like a new kind of retro documentary, but no LaserDisc ones, but so we'll have to. It would be a shame to recast it and call it something other than LaserDisc Tech, because we got that banging theme song that Monkey helped put together. So, but the other one just does a movie of the week. But they do watch the movie on LaserDisc. I'll give you that. But I don't think they actually talk about the LaserDisc at all, like in terms of, like even if it's letterboxed or if it has special features or anything like that. It's just they just talk about the movie, I think. So it was weird. And it was one of those cases where we just kind of agreed to stay out of each other's way. But I never really got the chance to respond to them. They did fire up some correspondence, and that was kind of what they pitched. Was like, there's two LaserDisc Tech podcasts, but whatever, let's just do it. And then they spelled theirs like with a gap or something. I think it was like Laser Space Discotheque, and that's kind of I was like, that's fine. So, and it just never kind of went anywhere. But it was a bummer, that aspect at least, because people are like, I want to look at your podcast, and then it keeps coming up as something else. So. But rewind this and adjust your tracking. I swear I saw some other VHS stuff going on. But damn it, we'll make these LaserDisc movies. So we got a couple movies going on. We got a documentary. We got a documentary series. We got a comedy drama adventure movie. I do have a name for a LaserDisc documentary, but I'm not telling anybody until it happens, because someone's going to end up just taking it. Not that we're stealing ideas for LaserDisc documentaries, but that one's like always. I've always kept that one close to my. It's probably not even that good, but I've always kept that one close to my my chest. Yeah. But I've had a name for a LaserDisc documentary, but even before an idea for a LaserDisc documentary. So that part's covered. I'm good. I'm gonna say, how many LDs do you have? Someone will say 55. How many Japanese LDs? And they'll say no, and then I'll say, you're fired. I am leaving, sir. Do you have any Obi strips at least? Just a corner strip. Show me some. It'd be fun. Yeah, there's some great collections out there. It'd be fun to visit some of those. It's amazing how many collections there are still out there now that people haven't yet sold off to new collectors. People that have just been holding on to them, and even if they don't actively watch LDs anymore, they died and passed them on to other people. There's some amazing stuff out there. And then there's of course the resellers out there who have some major collections. Maxine's got some crazy stock, though I know she had a major flood issue, a lot of water damage, which was a bummer, but I know she's still been picking up some serious collections lately. And who is it up in the Pacific Northwest? Is that Chuck that's up there? That's got like a ton of discs. My buddy Ryan's got a ton of discs. Then even on the East Coast, there's a couple sellers. LaserDisc Vault has got a ton of stuff. It's funny that Dandy Zeppelin is like always selling stuff on eBay, but like I think he would show up occasionally in LDF, but not really like that much of the part of the community. But he's like always selling tons of stuff on eBay. Like that guy's like if you're always looking for discs, you're always going to see LDs on eBay on that Jack Skellington throw blanket that he has. I have the exact same one. I almost kind of want to start selling LaserDiscs on eBay on my black Jack Skellington throw rug just to confuse people. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know. But then there's like the collectors that just have tons of stuff. And then there's that weird LaserDisc museum that nobody can quite figure out. They just showed up out of nowhere. And they have this basement, which is probably the last place I want to put LaserDisc that I want to like have part of a museum. But I guess, space is an issue. But there's just all these LaserDiscs just stacked up in piles on the floor. And opening credit sequence needs to be credit slate over promo testing footage with some aesthetic music playing. Nice. Yeah, see, even Spencer knows. The Skellington Throw LD eBay post. But yeah, this LaserDisc museum just rolled in, and they're like, yeah, we're this LaserDisc museum, but can't quite get a vibe for like what they're going for, because the guy in the video was kind of talking about, it's really not really about the format, it's about the pop culture or something like that. So I'm like, I don't know, it's weird, I don't know what's going on. And they've got all the sealed stuff, I don't know where they got it from. And but now they're selling it all. It seems like they're selling some things to help pay for their, I don't know, but it's like, I don't know, some museums got a bunch of new like Dolly paintings, and they're selling them to help fund their new Dolly museum. Like, figure by the time they have the money for the museum, all the discs are sold. I don't know, like there's more going on there than I obviously can grok, but we'll figure that out as as it goes. But yeah, they've been selling a lot of stuff, and they're selling discs and shipping them in pizza boxes. Yeah, which again, it's creative, but it's weird, man. I don't know. They're the LaserDisc museum. Like, don't ship your LDs in a pizza box, man. Colin says, I think an old dude just died, so they inherited that called Laser Museum. Yeah, like, and then they were kind of talking about doing like an online thing, and I was like, well, there's already the LaserDisc database. Like, if there should be a LaserDisc museum, just kind of keep adding features to the LaserDisc. It's just volunteer to add features to the LDDB, really, because, man, otherwise you're just ice skating uphill, and you know what Blade says about that. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It's interesting, though, and they got some cool stuff, that's for sure. Check out Video Hoarders, YouTube and web series about Aussie VHS collectors. I think I've seen some of those. There's an Aussie show that keeps showing up every time I search for LaserDisc, and they never have LaserDisc on it, but it's a bunch of VHS guys, and they go to a lot of cons and stuff like that. So I think that's that series, and I end up watching it. It happens a lot. Like, obviously, I search for LaserDisc all the time on YouTube, and I get that stupid ass public domain song LaserDisc by, I forgot the name of the guy that did it, but everybody uses that as their background music. GoFundMe LD going. Let's do it. Yes, good call, 4K. I'm gonna start. I need to get that GoFundMe going. I'm gonna get this dot going. I'm gonna go to LA. Gonna go to Japan, and then random spots across America, and then then probably we gotta go to Europe too. We gotta go to Phillips. That's it. Doing it. And but yeah, I don't know. I always look up LaserDisc, and I always get that stupid song LaserDisc that everyone uses as their background music for their video about like dogs doing yoga or whatever. And I'm like, you're not LaserDisc. And the CED movie, damn it. But yeah, so I always get pissed off when I see that stuff. And then for some reason the LD gets tagged in a lot of things that don't actually have LaserDisc in there. So I see tons of pickup videos and video collector videos, which end up not having any LaserDisc content at all. But yeah, throw me a freaking bone. Even if it's just like all Blu-rays and DVDs and VHS, if you have one LaserDisc at the end, I'm like, yeah, it was worth my time. But yeah, and then I've kind of found a lot of other collectors that I end up watching their stuff anyways, even if, all right, Mason Hutago's in the CD movies. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, after credits, like, it's like a Mel Brooks History of the World Part 1 kind of thing. And now, History of the World War 2. Hitler on Ice. Betamax movie. Yeah, the Betamax movie, I'm surprised there isn't more Betamax content, because that's got a pretty fervent collector's market. I do know a guy in my neck of the woods that is a big CED fan, rehabs the players and collects them. That was never my trip, but there's definitely some people out there into it. My wife had a CD player when she was a kid, And yeah, I was always talking about like, yeah, you put it in the player, then you slide it back out, and the cart comes out. I'm like, that's not Laserdisc. What the hell are you talking about? Yeah. LD fans, a lot of us have a bad reaction to CED, mostly because it wastes so much of our time traveling to find boxes and boxes of laser discs that are not laser discs. So eventually you get bitter. You're like, turn into Sean, who always goes, fuck needle vision. That's his thing. So we have a kind of bitter rivalry with CED because I remember this one store, the first time that ever happened, this one store, I knew the owner was like, we got some laserdiscs here. We got stacks of them. It's going to be amazing. You should come down. We don't know what to do with them. So like, we'll hook you up with a great deal. And I went down and they were all stacked up. They're all CEDs. And they were all stacked up vertically. So who knows how, if you could play them back without skipping. They all were dirty like CED caddies always are. I always say there's a joke that like CED caddies are always 90% feces, 10% plastic. It's like always cat hair and like urine and like squirrel poop, and it's like, ugh. Like I never want to touch a CED caddy. They're just always like grody looking. The VCD movie, nice. Yeah, so I went down there and it was just a giant stack of CDs, and I'm like, ugh. Ambitious but rubbish. I like it. Yes, indeed. It was a cool concept, and they're fun to kind of tear apart and look at. Yeah, it's really interesting stuff, and I love that there's that real stylus kind of going at fascinating crap. Though, definitely VHD would be the one if I had to do one. I don't know. Laser's Home Theater probably went to bed hours ago, but he was collecting VHDs hard, which is like a Japanese variant of CED. They were like a little narrower, but way cooler and far less covered in feces for some reason. And there's some badass VHDs out there. So if I was going to get into caddy-based, like old school 80s video, I'd definitely be going VHD. Plus, there's all sorts of like badass anime stuff out there. So I could get some like Macross stuff on VHD, and I don't think I can on CED. So CED gets the finger. But yeah, what was I saying? I don't know. I was talking trash about CED. Or something like that. But yeah, I would always drive down and find stacks of those things, and they get pissed off. But thankfully, that first place that said, come on down, we got a bunch of laserdiscs, I went back later, and they actually did have a stack of dusty LDs, and I got the Toy Story box set, I got Natural Born Killers, The Doors, Sex Pistols, what else? And then some stuff like Bob Dylan. I got K.D. Lang, a couple other like old copy of Wizard of Oz, and like a mix of stuff. But enough cool things that I wanted in there, especially those box sets were tasty. So I got the whole set for a decent price. So it ended up working out after all. But every VHD I've collected has been. See, Rod knows VHDs are like I don't know, well taken care of compared to a CD. Tecmo had a US VHD, huh? Interesting. That's a little bit of an anomaly. But, yeah. I'm sticking with the LD video. But I will endorse your other fancy documentaries. I'll endorse that VHD documentary for sure. But, oh, man. It's hot in here. I should have some AC going, but it would probably have like a big noise going on in the background all the time. The neighbors have actually been pretty quiet tonight, so that's nice. I appreciate that. Yeah, still not sure. I'm going to try and go hit the flicks this weekend, but nothing really on tap. I definitely have to finish watching more Venture Brothers commentary. I got quite a few of those. Oh, man. I love their freaking commentary. This is like half the fun of this show is watching it again with commentary track, because they just get on these tangents that are amazing. Yes, Archive. I've been meaning to get in touch with those guys for LD Swap Meet. Or at the least, just go on down there and hang out someday with some cool peeps. Yeah, that we could all just take the place over, even if it's not an official takeover. So if anyone's down to go into Bridgeport, Connecticut, and I just saw they got some new LD stuff. I saw they had like the Alien box set, CAV box, and some things. So, yeah, definitely. I want to go back down there. It's been too long. It's been a couple months now. So, yeah. But I would love to do a proper swap meet to counter the Boston one that Wiley puts on. So, which he should be doing another one in September too. Hasn't been planned like a date yet, but it's on the horizon. The HD DVD movie. But first, the DVHS movie. And yeah, it's true. We can do some filming there. That place is cool too. I still love to do a screening and everything like that. So, but yeah, that would be an awesome place for LD swap meet, and they'd be totally down for it too. So just have to contact them and get the ball rolling and all that stuff. Yeah, really, one of these days I want to get a sneak peek at their vaults too, because they've got so many prints in that place. It's so cool. So much neat stuff. And so much stuff they probably don't even have any idea who has the rights for, so it's not going to be transferred on Blu-ray anytime soon. But Rod's got 11 formats. Nice. I think I have a problem. Nice. Damn. Can't have too many formats, right? I mean, I've only got video formats. Yeah, I guess I've only got VHS, LD, DVD, Blu-ray, UHD, even though it's kind of like Blu-ray Plus. Yeah. And I got one beta tape, but I don't have a player. But I have the tape. Something like that. I get to touch base with Seth, too. He was actually going to hook me up finally with a PAL LaserDisc player. So I can finally watch my freaking Tears for Fears PDO UK disc and see if it's rotted. And I can watch my French PAL dubbed discs that I got from my buddy. That hooked me up with a bunch of cool ones. And I can watch GoldenEye. So yeah, I gotta get the dough over to him so he can ship that to me. Finally psyched to have a freaking PAL player. Have you ever had a LD you wanted to buy on eBay? Someone pipped you at the post to get it. I'm trying to think if I ever got anything snaked. Snaked on at eBay. Mostly for other stuff. I'm trying to think of LD wise. Most of the LDs I would end up just kind of finding something, buy it now, and just going for it. Yeah, VCD does suck, right? Yeah, but I'm mostly like we've gotten snaked out of tech. Like for like the remote I want or a player I want, and I'm like, damn it, somebody posts it or it goes wide and everybody gets excited about it. But but yeah, I've luckily for the most part gotten most of the LDs I want to get from eBay. But yeah, for a while there, I try to avoid auctions for the most part, and just if I found something, buy it now, I'd get it right away. But yeah, occasionally I've been having pretty good luck with auctions lately. I won that freaking Rotel processor that I didn't think I was gonna win, and what was the other thing I got recently? There was another bidding war that I ended up grabbing. I can't remember what the hell it was. One of the dated and failed formats we can do. There's a lot. Oh, we gotta do some Muse coverage too, but that'll go into LD proper. But yeah, some DVHS would be sweet. There's some other like weird ass like little tiny niche video things. It's amazing the amount of little tiny formats that nobody remembers that are out there. All-time LD sound and picture quality. Usually it's Fifth Element, if you can get a rot-free copy of the American release, because it's one of the rare occasions where the American pressing is better than the Japanese one, even though I have a Japanese copy too. But the American Fifth Element, if you can get a Pioneer USA pressing instead of the DADC USA rotted pressing, it's you could put that on and fool your friends into thinking they're watching a DVD. Plus the 5.1 mix is awesome, and but yeah, it just looks fantastic. There's a few other runners up for sure. Anything late release ends up looking pretty damn good. So The World Is Not Enough looks pretty stellar. All the Pierce Brosnan Bond movies look great. Tomorrow Never Dies looks fantastic too. And what else? Fight Club's not bad. It's not the best. It's not like amazing, but it's pretty damn good. And then what else? There's a couple other like older titles that like jump out at me that I'm surprised they look as good as they do. Criterion put out some badass transfers. I still like Ghostbusters in LD. Like, it looks fantastic. But yeah, all time is probably going to be Fifth Element for the time being, until I think of something else that kicks its ass. But yeah, it's killer. Nice super NTSC transfer. Just sick. Too bad they didn't do a DTS version of that, because I don't think they did. That's the other cool thing about the DTS discs, which does make them worthwhile collecting, even though they're expensive as crap a lot of times. But they're, at least DTS didn't drop on LaserDisc until years after AC3 did, so all the DTS stuff that came out was reissues of things that had already dropped before, so it gave them a chance to do a new pressing. And it was usually Kure pressed a lot of those discs, so things that had bad pressings like Volcano, you can get a nicer pressing on DTS. So they had, better pressings a lot of times. So they're worth investing in for that amount. Movie CDs are dumb yet cool. UMD. Yeah, movie CDs. Somebody was dropping some of those on Laserdisc Forever. Yeah, GoldenEye LD gatefold presentation. Yeah, that gatefold's badass. That disc is cool as hell. Just the fact that it came with the documentary with with what's her face from Austin Powers there. Yeah. Mrs. X Hugh Grant. Elizabeth Hurley. Yeah, it's got an Elizabeth Hurley documentary on there, and it's just cool. It's got the commentary track. It was one of those great situations where the regular release came with a lot of cool ass special features, so it was good. I wish more LDs had taken a nod from that release. And then Tomorrow Never Dies came out, which didn't have much of anything, but yeah, Tecmo, that's kind of his thing. Yeah, all those weird little formats, you're like, wait, this was a thing? But yeah, I know he drives Laserdisc home theater crazy, because he delved into Laserdisc and Muse, but yeah, not as much as some other guys. So obviously some of the things he was complaining about aren't necessarily complaints, if you kind of delve into it a little bit deeper. So yeah, it's almost like he needs to contact some of those dudes and make a follow-up video. So Volcano subway scene scares the hell out of me. What about you? The major thing that scares me about Volcano is that Tommy Lee Jones doesn't know what magma is, even though he's a pretty smart guy. Liz Hurley, man. I remember my nephew was over the house one time, and was it Bedazzled came out, and he I forgot how old he was, but he's like, I'd sell my soul to the devil for her. And everyone's like, dude. Like, everyone's like, high five, but you're too young. Yeah, I never did get the PSP stuff, because I never picked one up for some reason. I was always playing my PS2 games, but for some reason I never ponied up for a PSP. So never got into the UMDs and everything. I do know some collectors though. There's a decent amount of stuff out there on UMD you can get. So yeah, it does have, again, a small but tenacious following for sure. Yeah, super. It's amazing the stuff people keep figuring out about the Muse discs. Peter and the guys always getting new gear and trying it out. That was the other thing, is like, nobody really went far into the Muse world except for two Pioneer players, and then there's so many other options. There's the Kenwood players, there's the Sony players, and there's different Muse decoders, and mixing and matching. So it's cool that LaserDisc Home Theater did so much work into that, and found that like the Sony decoder matches better with a Sony player than it does the Pioneer. So people that thought Muse discs didn't look that good just weren't getting the ultimate combination of gear. Just keeping the shrink wrap on your LDs eventually damage the jackets. Yeah, it's funny, because that's one thing that's been a strange thing. There's been a kind of new influx of new blood in the Laserdisc Forever group lately, where Panasonic players too, which is like the Panasonic Muse is a Sony rebadge or whatever, but that pairs well with the Sony Muse decoder too. But yeah, there's been this influx of new blood that are really excited about sealed gear when Laserdisc is one of those weird kind of things where sealed discs don't necessarily mean that you can charge a premium for them on the used market. In fact, with a lot of collectors, it's seen as a detriment. One, because you don't know what's inside. Like, it could be mold, it could be rot, like disc rot, or the disc itself could be cracked. So if you're charging a premium on these things, and then it's sealed, and then you're paying even more money for it, you're gonna be wicked pissed if you do crack it open. I guess it doesn't really matter if you're just buying them sealed and leaving them that way. But there are some people that are kind of coming at it with like, oh my god, sealed is where it's at, sealed, and like, historically, sealed discs haven't really had much cachet with LD collectors, so they're seen as a bit of a liability. So they would rather have a disc that's like minty or well treated, or even like still in the shrink a little bit, but ripped open at the sides, where someone has verified that the disc isn't cracked or it's completely rotted or something. But yes, as you mentioned before, the shrink wrap itself will tighten over the ages, and especially it's less of an issue with Japanese discs, because Japanese discs usually have these really nice like kind of poly sleeves over the disc and like a sealed kind of bag, and the ones in the States where there's some gorgeous jackets and everything, but they're thinner. The Japanese jackets are a lot thicker cardboard, and the American ones are thinner and definitely more prone to bending and stress fractures. As much as I absolutely love it, where is it at? I bought Evil Dead 2, the red edition, Dead by Dawn, brand new, like new old stock, not even from an old vendor or a guy that found used copies. I got it from Vinny Boncolari from Elite Entertainment, but it was sealed. But it's got stress fractures. I don't know if you can see down here at the bottom corner, and then it's got a pretty big one up there. It's so gorgeous in every other aspect, and nothing's wrong with it. But yeah, the shrink wrap was not a great thing for it, and like you can see, it's a pretty thin jacket. So you got a thick disc in here, giving a lot of resistance. But these jackets, as that shrink wrap just keeps on pulling tighter, it's really not helping much. Put that back. Uh-oh, what happened? I see the snake. I see Ouroboros. It looks like we're streaming okay. Come back. Oh, all right. Looks like I'm back. You might have missed something. I was talking about Evil Dead 2 and stress fractures. But yeah, it is bigger than a human head. Yeah, I've got a few others like that. Now I've got some like the Odyssey TV show, which badass, by the way. Pretty cool, like little mini series from the 90s. Where was it? Yeah, I think it was 90s. Where is it? It's behind me. But it was like 2 discs in one kind of thin jacket, and the shrink wrap just really bent the hell out of that stuff. So yeah, so buyer beware for sure. If you're cool with keeping them sealed or whatever, at least make sure that it hasn't done too much damage to the jacket. Yeah, Strictly Jacob was like, if there was a problem with the disc, like there was a chance that it was defective. That guy never brought it back because he never opened it and played it and realized this one's screwed up. Yeah, I'm going back to Tower Records and getting a new one. So, so yeah, it's an interesting thing, but it's funny how there's like this constant kind of ebb and flow of new collectors coming into the fold and different kind of attitudes and expectations and what they're into. But yeah, I definitely prefer to crack the shrink. I mean, there's still that vicarious thrill of cracking open something that's been sealed since the 90s and taking a whiff of that fresh fresh acrylic air inside there, and so yeah, it's definitely fun for sure. But yeah, it's just usually a case of I wouldn't pay a premium for it. Like I wouldn't go above and beyond to pay for the experience of a sealed disc. But if I happen to get one, it's like that's cool. But it is nice when the pressure's been taken off a little bit and the shrink is, it's slit, but the shrink's kind of on there. So there's been some lots I've had where discs are in kind of dusty, crappy locations, and it's nice to just be able to be rip and everything's like nice and pristine under there. But yeah, it's also great if it was just well taken care of, then it's not really a problem anyways. Somebody took the shrink off and put him in a protective jacket or something like that. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, I don't have a Japanese Air Force One yet either. I gotta get that someday. I'm still on a foolish hunt for a clean copy of the American Air Force One because I know they're out there and you could put them together. So I'll make that happen sometime. Some shady dude sold the Getaway remake at the back of his car. Nice. It's actually on my list. I've been meaning to get that. I got the original not too long ago on LD. Where's that sucker? Oh, it's probably over there. Oof, it's bright. Don't look over there. But yeah, so I've got the original. So I want to get the Baltimore one just to get it because again, 90s. That's cool. You bought it out of the back of a car though. That's awesome. That's when you know you're getting the quality goods. I know a guy who he moved down to Florida, but he used to live down the street from me, and he used to buy illegal 35 millimeter prints out of backs of cars underneath bridges in New York back in the day, and he had a pretty hefty collection. And I went down to his basement, and I can't believe I hadn't know. I used to talk to him all the time because we used to go out to movie screenings all the time because I was Mr. Movie Critic guy, so I'd be there, and he just knew the right people to get passes for all this stuff. So, I forgot I missed it. Freddie wanted to know about the Voyager discs. No, I don't have those suckers. Golden laser discs attached to the Voyager space probe. I do not. That would be the coolest. Yeah. I want to send up a copy of DTS Speed onto the next Voyager probe. I'm gonna make one. That's why I'm changing the GoFundMe. It's not a documentary. I'm making a space probe. Yeah, Japanese Army of Darkness. Speaking of Army of Darkness, might have some more Army of Darkness LaserDisc action soon. Yeah, Spencer also mentioned the warpage of the discs too, because they're tough, thick discs, but they will eventually start warping, and then you're especially on the outskirts of the disc, the laser is going to have a hard time picking up the clean image, and you're going to get crosstalk. So I've got a couple that you can straighten back out some warp discs, but I've got a few where it's like at the end. My copy of Eraser, it sadly has no laser wrap, but it does have a little bit of warping crosstalk at the edge of it. So that's always a problem too, because after a while that shrink wrap starts putting a lot of pressure on there. Rat's got the Japanese DTS Experience test disc. Dude, nice. Prices going up with new. Yeah, it's weird though, because you never know what's gonna go up. Like horror movies are generally always going up. Like I saw somebody the other day selling, not ironically either, not that it's not a great movie, but not even as a joke, but like selling the framed letterbox Japanese release that they live out there too, but it's not like the real aspect ratio. But at least I'd rather have that than anything. But sure, it'd be fun to have, but not $70 fun to have. So the horror market's going to be continually inflating. But the other thing is going to be more like culty things that are big VHS, heavy hitters too. So obviously Full Moon stuff's going to keep like bouncing up and everything like that. But so it's weird. But then the diehard collectors are still going to be forcing up the late releases and the DTS releases. So yeah, you're kind of caught in the middle now as a collector. It's pretty tough. So luckily there's so many commons that the market hasn't hasn't thankfully turned into a bizarre situation where commons are blowing up in value, even though they're not they're not rare. It's funny. I was watching all those the comic documentaries. I was watching from AMC, the Kirkman one, and then the Image Revolution documentary, and talking about the big explosion when, especially McFarlane's Spider-Man series that came out with all the different foil cover variants and stuff, and there was this just mass manufactured rarity going on. We were like, it's rare, buy it. But we printed ass tons of these things. So there's that case with LaserDisc where there are so many copies of Speed and T2 and True Lies out there that if there ever is an inflation of prices, it's not because they're rare. It's because of a weird abstract market aberration where they become, because of people buying them for ridiculous prices, it starts some sort of snowball effect. But yeah, there's no reason 90s common should start shooting up. But I mean, yeah, there might be a case where the bottom line starts creeping a bit there. But yeah, good luck if you're into anything kind of weird or cultish or So if you want to get especially like late 80s and early 90s stuff that caters to dudes like Moikey. So you get those like pre-hysteria movies or Rad or something like that. Yeah. The sky's the limit with that stuff. So, but I mean, on the plus side, you're still going to be able to get Criterion boxes in 2001 for like $5. So, there's still some killer stuff that's going to be cheap. But yeah, it's definitely heating up. That's for sure. But everyone's kind of coming at it from different angles, like I said. So at least, there's there's something for you still to collect for cheap out there. Oh, DTS-LD of Independence Day. Damn. It costs a bank account. Yeah, there's some of those discs. It's weird how the DTS ones are so all over the map. Like there's some you can get for $17, and then some are ridiculous. Vonder wants U571. Yes, that is a late release. That is much coveted by many. Yeah, I don't have that. I don't have a lot of late releases, actually. I don't have most late releases for the Japanese ones. But I still wouldn't mind. I almost pulled the trigger on Mission Impossible 2 just because it's got like a personal connection. I certainly wouldn't sneeze at an X-Men on LD. And there's a few others. Existence, I rather wouldn't mind having. I don't even have Sleepy Hollow or Bringing Out the Dead either. I wouldn't kick those out of bed either. So we'll see. Yeah, vinyl, yeah. It's definitely, I mean, even 180 gram vinyl is, not as beefy as a LaserDisc. These things are hefty as crap, so, yeah. LaserDisc do I have? It's probably about 1,000. Not too much. It's not too crazy. I know some guys with like tens of thousands, but I try to cull the herd as best I can, but I do have a little bit of overflow now. I need to make space for some new guys, and I might go pick up a couple too. There's a few things in my neck of the woods that have cropped up that I'm like, I might go pick those up. But yeah, around 1,000-ish. Eventually, when I move and get even more space, I'll expand even broader. But I figure that's a goodish number for now. But might have to get more IKEA units. These IKEA Kallaxes show up on Facebook Marketplace all the time. You can get them for really, really cheap, which is great. They're not really built for moving and removing, but if you do it gingerly enough, you can get one of these suckers for a reasonable price, like $20 or something. In fact, I almost got another one of these. Somebody was selling it, and somebody snaked it out from under me. But yeah, I think it's roughly around 1,000. I've got some stuff that's not listed on LDDB yet. So I should actually, let me go over to LDDB and see what my official count there is. There's some doubles and things like that I don't have labeled in there yet. Bear with me. Let's see what is what. That's not LDDB. Bear with me. Come on, hamsters. Why is my internet not working? Probably I'm hogging my bandwidth for my live stream. Ooh, Existence on Blu-ray. Yes, I would be down for that. I haven't seen that since I saw it in the theater. It's been far too long. I missed the like kind of first run of it. I caught it at an art house cinema on its way out, which is great. Let's see, catalog, my account, collection. Let's see what we got going here. So there's 849 listed on LDDB. Yeah, so the amount of like kind of doubles and things like that. Yeah, it's probably hovering around 1,000. So yeah, that sounds about right. But 850 official titles in LDDB right now. I think it's public. You can probably take a look at it. I think it's lddb.com/culturedog. You might be able to take a look at my list. And yeah, see what you like. You can make an offer on something if you want, and maybe I'll sell it, but probably not. Depends on if I love it or not. You can have my what else I got? I got some dance LaserDisc. Like I don't really need. So yeah, it's limited edition Existence. So is it already one of those things that's going for like a decent amount of money already? It's the only problem with some of these badass boutique Blu-ray releases. You gotta get them. You gotta strike while the iron's hot, for sure. Sometimes I don't even find out about them until after the fact. Like I wasn't even paying attention to Twilight Time as a thing until after the Sinbad movies came out, and like we're already like Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger was going for like $80, and I'm like, damn it, I should have bought that. And then now I try and pick up whatever I can. But the weird thing is like Twilight Time, it's like when that stuff goes out of print, somebody else just ends up picking up and releasing it anyways. Yeah, I think my LDDB is set to public. I think it is. Of course, I just closed it out, but I go again. I think it's set to public. Try it out sometime. lddb.com/culturedog. Yeah, 101 Films UK. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. Yeah, I've been meaning to do a big Cronenberg Superfest, and when the Criterion sale happens at Barnes & Noble, I'm going to fill in some of the gaps and pick up some of the Criterion reissues and things, because I sold a bunch of my Cronenbergs. I sold my Videodrome too, and it came with that sick clamshell case, or the fake kind of VHS case, and I sold my Naked Lunch, I think, and The Brood scanners. So I need to get all those on Blu-ray. Primer. Yeah, that's one of those ones that still is going for a decent amount of money. Nice. I'm so glad I picked that up on DVD right away. But yeah, I'll check out Existence for sure. You know, I've seen bits of Caligula, but yeah, and I always love a bunch of songs that sample it, like Matthew Sweet in his Altered Beast album has some Caligula samples, and I think right before The Ugly Truth, there's a metal album I have too that samples from Caligula, but someday I gotta watch the whole damn thing, like the uncut full version. Yeah, Shaw Brothers LD. It's too bad there wasn't like a high quality like elite entertainment level series of releases. There was some cooler stuff in the UK, but over here in the States, like there wasn't really that many great HKLDs. And then there was, you had to just get the import, the actual HKLDs, but they were dodgy quality with burned in English subtitles that were always blown out when anything white happened on screen, so you could never read them. But they were pretty cool. Tai Seng Releasing would import a lot of those things and would occasionally put out special editions of their own that were pretty nice. I got that Brandon Lee movie, Legacy of Rage, that they put out. It was pretty cool. But a lot of 90s, 80s and 90s stuff they did. But yeah, some Shaw Brothers stuff would have been badass. Right? Yeah, I do have some LDs I want to get a new cover for. There's a lot of commons and stuff that are pretty banged up and beat up. I've got like a small list. I should actually do that because they do have a condition rating. kind of set of metrics on the LDDB, and I haven't gone through and applied that to a lot of my discs. But yeah, there's a lot of ones I got that are, I just want to get the movie just to watch it, but I would like to upgrade to like a better jacket after time. Like I got a sweet minty copy of Ransom on Japanese LD, but my US copy is all kind of corner bumps and like creases and stress fractures and everything. And I've got a bunch of them like that. Virtuosity, I want a nicer one of. I could probably do a short list pretty quickly. Oh yeah, Spencer, definitely get some of these IKEA guys. There's the Walmart knockoffs, which are pretty nice, but not as structurally awesome as. Not that these are that structurally awesome. Definitely, it pays to do a little bit of maybe some cross bracing, or if you want to add like an actual piece of wood to the backside, that'll help. But and then anchor it to the wall for sure, because LDs are heavy, but they're great. Yeah. I guess access to IKEA is probably the toughest thing because they're only sporadically placed. I'm lucky there's one in Connecticut, more towards New York, but not that far away, so I can go and grab stuff if I need. Cronenberg, favorite Cronenberg? Yeah, Videodrome that was my first favorite Cronenberg. And I do like some of his newer period stuff. A History of Violence really blew me away. Eastern Promises is badass too, but I remember seeing History of Violence and really kind of, he had already kind of turned a corner with Spider, which is pretty fascinating. But yeah, The Fly is always fantastic. Yeah, Dead Ringers is fun, but yeah, Videodrome is probably, like, if I had to like pull one Cronenberg movie off the shelf, that would probably be the first one I would grab, just because it's so perfect. It's awesome. But yeah, I even like Crash. Not that people don't like Crash, but all of his stuff is pretty fascinating. And of course, the super old The Brood is fantastic too. I'll never get tired of that one. Yeah, 88 films. Yeah, it's so many cool imprints that aren't available readily here in the States. You can import them, but they get a lot of badass stuff too. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos of collectors firing up a lot of 88 film stuff. Yeah, History of Violence was that impressed the hell out of me when I saw it. It was definitely. And it still had that like Cronenberg edge to it. A lot of it simmering kind of under the layer, but yeah. When some of that hyper violent imagery happened, when Vigo really started going at it, I was like, oh yeah, all right, it's Cronenberg. Cronenberg won Best Picture for Crash. Oh wait a minute, yeah, he should have. Wrong Crash though. Sorry, Paul Haggis. Give it to Cronenberg. Man, I used to love reading that Cronenberg book I had at the time. I don't think it went that far. I don't think it made it. Did it make it all the way up to Crash? At least the version I had only went so far. But I used to love that thing. It was so inspirational. Just the tales of him, exploiting the Canadian film market and the refunds and the kind of tax breaks he got and everything like that, and just kind of saying, I'm going to make movies, and just making movies. And too cool. It's great stuff. I could have watched my Scream Factory Rabid release. I haven't really had a chance to sit down and fire that up. And some LDs would be cool, but I know that Japanese LD box that everybody buys looks like crap. So I don't know. I'm kind of like loath to invest in it. Yeah, Vigo, man. Vigo is so badass. And Eastern Promises too. Stars on his knees, fighting dudes in the bathhouse naked. That is like one of the most insane like fight scenes, because it's like there's really, leather jackets are gonna stop some damage from getting you, but it's just seems so vulnerable, just completely in the nude when like he's just taking those dudes out. Man, he's badass. But it's just it's so just you're on the edge of your seat because you're like, oh my god, dude's got no protection. Oh man. Abel Ferrara, Ms. 45. That is on my list for sure. I love Driller Killer. I love most Abel Ferrara movies. I still haven't seen his Body Snatchers remake, and there's like a few other ones. And yeah, Cannes, the Cannes Film Festival likes Cronenberg, but not the Oscars. But yeah, Eastern Promises is badass flick. Naomi Watts is great in that too. Oh man, yeah, love everything about that one too. That was like a good, nice 1-2 punch. History, Balance, and Eastern Promises. But yeah, I want to get Miss 45. I gotta pick that up. Help complete my Able for our collection. That dude's so crazy. I love all the interviews with him. He's just such a character. Long live the new Flash. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, Bad Lieutenant, dude. Ugh. Yeah, that's nasty stuff. Robert Cronenberg's first time, I always figure, because there's Rabbit Shivers, Fast Company, then his Stereo and Crimes of the Future. But Fast Company was like his third maybe. Let's get the official listing. I didn't see any of them in the theater. I wanted to see Scanners in the theater, like hardcore, but obviously that was a tough sell. And Videodrome I didn't see until it came out on video, which is kind of that's not bad. you could do worse. But I don't think I saw a Corona. I think I missed the Dead Zone in the theaters too. So probably the first thing I saw was The Fly, theatrically. But yeah, Scanners was like just what I saw of it. Like I was like, I'm in. I want to check this out. Come on. The internet hamster's not working. They died. Which one gets better? Yeah, Bad Lieutenant gets better with each. Yep, I lucked out. Got the I got the LD copy that has the signifying wrapper, the Schoolie D track on there, which was worth hunting down. So yeah, I'm definitely. I mean, it's pretty noisy. It's a noisy LD, but I can live with that. Damn it. Where's the? So yeah, Stereo was the first, but that was So it was directorial debut, and then Crimes of the Future in 70, and Shivers in 75, and then Rabbit in 77. So yeah, Fast Company in 79, and The Brood. Nice. I still haven't seen M. Butterfly all the way through. I think I saw most of that on cable back in the day. And I still haven't seen Cosmopolis or Maps of the Stars. So I suck. I gotta get on the stick and finish up my Cronenberg new releases. Yeah, we'll have to do a Cronenberg special assignment at some point too. But we got a lot of other stuff going on here. 1.33 framing. It's interesting how that framing never dies officially. What was 823 is like really friendly to 1.33 to 1 framing. Was it First Reformed recently had it? It was mid-90s. I think mid-90s had it too. So James Glickenhaus, The Exterminator, and Shakedown. Nice. Yeah, Debbie Harry and Videodrome. Yeah, that was like, man, she was on top of her game. It was like total perfect for that character. I liked her in Body Bags too. That was fun. But yeah, everything about just the fact that I was catching Videodrome on videotape for the first time. There was just this whole kind of meta implosion of this exciting world of early 80s videotape collecting and trading and all that stuff, and that movie being part of it, and just it's just so incestuous and awesome. Yeah, Cronenberg and Carpenter were always my go-to. Those guys came out with something, I saw it. If I didn't get a chance to see it in the theater right away, it was my first chance I could. Yeah, Bad Lieutenant, Fist Bump. Yeah, I like them both. I like Portugal, New Orleans too. Werner Herzog had a different take on it, but I enjoyed that flick quite a bit. But yeah, Bad Lieutenant's. I love the jacket too. It's See if I can retrieve it. What is Basketball Diaries? Basic Instinct. I got a lot of bad movies. There we go. Love the kind of day glow font. It's just too cool. And it's like, not one of those image things with a picture of a LaserDisc on the side. It's like freaking graphic of Harvey Keitel shoving a gun in your face. Yeah, man. Shoot him again. His soul is still dancing. When I saw that scene, I was like, yep, this movie's awesome. Bad Lieutenant's got some killer quotables in there too. Not safe for work. Man. Yeah, I saw that movie and I was just like, what the hell am I watching? I rented it. I think the first time I saw it was I rented the LaserDisc from this cool LaserDisc rental shop down the street from me. And I was watching it and I was just like, what is this, man? Badass, right? Love that. Love that disc. Always a tough word because it's a harrowing kind of experience. So James Woods and Vampires. So, yeah, Vampires was one of those movies I saw it the first time and I was just kind of meh on it. And I kind of enjoy that movie more and more each time I watch it. And then getting the Twilight Time Blu-ray. Yeah, James Woods is like so the guy for that role. I go Rain Man soundtrack now. Oh boy, I used to hear that everywhere back in the day. I go at me. Dun, 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 dun. I go on. Hey now. That's gonna be in my head. Damn it. Large box VHS, yeah. I mean, some of those things were like intricate too. Like, you had the giant super clamshells, you had the super boxes, you had boxes within boxes, you had the ones with like tabs that would fold over and like would house the tape inside, like a little kind of little cradle, and some you slipped them out, and then there was like, plastic molded inserts that then had the tape. There's so much interesting packaging back in the day, right? That Harvey Keitel LD. Just hold that up. People know you mean business. Right, yeah, we're definitely gonna throw Bad Lieutenant on a future assignment list, but after something like fun. Yeah, you're officially old if you remember oversized VHS boxes and long boxes for CDs and cassettes. I saw somebody selling a new old stock long box recently. It's so funny how that was just like the thing, and nobody ever thought, this is just a total waste of cardboard. We should probably do something else. And I know the idea was to deter theft. So which came out with the whole concept of the replica long box, which is just a long big piece of plastic with the CD crammed up the top. It's just amazing that it like was a thing for so long before everyone's like, we could probably do better than this. I used to keep a lot of my old CD long boxes and cut them up and like hang them up at work. I used to have like Rush Presto and Joe Satriani, The Extremist, and a couple other ones like hanging up at work all the time. And Justice for All, Metallica. Crush Groove on LD. Respect. That would be badass. I hope that's on LD. It's got to be. There's a couple like weird like 80s things that should be on LD that aren't. And they're like on CED. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, like The Last Dragon's not on LaserDisc, which is like a total shame. Keitel should have won the Oscar for Bad Lieutenant, right? Complete like bravura performance. Oh, man. But yeah, long boxes. Good times. And to get them, I kind of peel the edge out, slide the CD out, and then, sometimes I'd keep it as is, or sometimes I'd cut it up. I did get the long box Metallica Garage Days that they re-released for Record Store Day not too long ago. It was pretty cool, getting a new CD and a long box. Not Oscar baity enough, right? It's got to be perfect and appeal to everybody. Oh man, we all love oversized boxes. Hell yeah. Scream Factory release of Vampires. They do have a hard on for like completing the Carpenter canon. I mean, I love the fact that they even went to his TV movies. I love the fact that there's a Blu-ray of Someone's Watching Me. That's so cool. Like, I never thought I'd even get a chance to see that movie. It was just one of those things I'd always read about in, pieces about Carpenter. And so having that Blu-ray was fantastic. So, and, the fact that, of course, they had to put out Elvis and they're really going full bore to completing and the fact that they put out Memoirs of an Invisible Man. I'm like, damn, these guys are crushing it. I still don't have the In the Mouth of Madness special edition either, so I gotta get cracking on those. So, no Simpsons on LD. Yeah, I know, right? That was around long enough that there should have been something. TV on LD is weird. Like, some things just, obviously Twin Peaks, things like that are out there, but yeah, some things they, like, especially more comedic things, they didn't consider important enough, or, I don't know. But yeah, I guess if it was dramatic, they would put it out. Beat Street's in LD. Damn, opening night, 42nd Street. Respect. Man, 4K's got to make a movie where he just goes back in time and, like, documents all these badass New York film screenings he was at. That's just the coolest. We need a time machine, though. Somebody better get some crystals and make a time machine. Yeah. Wasn't a studio film. Too dark. Few people saw it. Yeah, it was like critical darling, but that's about it. Somebody's watching me. Rockwell. Nice. I used to love that song. I used to love watching MTV. And most of the time it was stuff I didn't like, but eventually something badass would come on and it'd be worth watching. Yeah. I'd have to suffer through like 800 Quarter Flash videos. Nothing against Quarter Flash, but like, I wanted to watch Men at Work or something, and I wanted to watch Rockwell, but I had to wait for it. So it made it even sweeter when it would air. But, oh man, I watched MTV like crazy. There was like a whole generation of us knuckleheads that were just watching, if we weren't watching cartoons and like watching PXX or all the other kind of like New York stations that had all the syndicated stuff, we were watching MTV and just waiting for a cool video to come on. Yeah, Headbangers Ball, I would always stay up and watch that. Is Kurt Loder still alive? Yeah, I keep seeing him pop up in things. He's still out there somewhere. But yeah, he was everywhere for a while there. Somebody should talk to that guy, see what's going on. You're officially old if you remember MTV. And VH1. Yeah, Video Hits 1, playing musical content. That was great. VH1 was created because MTV was just too aggressive. We needed to chill it out for that kind of adult-oriented contemporary rock types. And then it completely turned into something else. Nice. You see the concert video on YouTube of Carpenter perform his themes with background footage. I've seen some like short things, but not like a full show. So I'll have to see if there's some more stuff out there. But I have seen some footage of his tour. I'm kicking myself because it came through again, probably when Anthology dropped, and he came through in Boston, but I flaked on getting tickets in time, and it was one of those things I knew that was stupid for letting that happen when it happened. But yeah, I definitely wish I had gone there. But I love both of the Lost Themes albums too, and the Anthology disc rocks. But I wish he had started doing that earlier. This stuff is so badass. Like, he should have been making these cool John Carpenter albums for decades now. Yeah, MTV continuous video flow was the best. Yeah, David Lee Roth videos. Yeah, I mean, I used to watch all these specials and stuff. In fact, I'm still doing some archive and some of those. Like, the guest VJs were killer. Whenever Weird Al Yankovic would come out with a new album, he'd take over MTV for a day as LTV. And then for a while, it like turned into like an hour-long special. But I remember the first time it happened, like probably around like in 3D era, like he took it over for like the whole day. It was awesome. That was what introduced me to Danny Elfman's song Gratitude, and then kind of into Oingo Boingo from that. It was like, the hell is this? This is amazing. Introduced me to some cool stuff. That was the neat thing too, is like if somebody took over MTV, they would be able to play all the weird stuff in the vault, like Dr. Demento kind of stuff, Barnes and Barnes. Like, they had videos for all sorts of weird stuff, and that people could actually, if you were famous and you were like guest VJing, you could play it, and then they'd be like, all right, it's a write-off since it's a guest VJ anyways. They'd let you play all this cool, crazy stuff. Serena Allshill, yeah, I remember her. MTV News, man. Whatever happened to her? It's gonna be a trip. Yep, back in the day, it was her all the time. Kennedy, then the Julie Browns, Downtown Julie Brown, Wubba Wubba Wubba. What was I watching recently with her in it? It's like, yeah, it's Downtown Julie Brown. Yep. Watching videos all day, waiting for, I don't know what. Sometimes it just be like, something cool is going to come on. I used to always like not want to change the channel because that'd be like the time some like crazy video that I never thought existed would play. So yeah, like you can't look away. But then it just ended up being like another John Cougar Mellencamp song. But David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar? I'm a bit of a heretic because I go Sammy Hagar. Like I prefer Sammy Hagar as a vocalist, and I really dig the Sammy Hagar era Van Halen albums. But I also dig the danger of the David Lee Roth era Van Halen. But then again, there was some goofy stuff there too. Like he plays it off like he was like all edge, but there was some cheese. He's a hammy guy, and there's a lot of cheese to go with his ham. So a lot of that got expressed in some of the older Van Halen stuff too. But I will always like kind of have a reaction to like being younger and hearing like Van Halen songs and thinking that they were like the scariest, like most badass, tough songs ever. You know, just that guitar tone was just amazing. Like I used to always joke about how if you saw a guy in a Camaro pull up and he was blasting Van Halen and like some dudes told you to get in the back, you were never coming home alive. I mean, you couldn't say no. You had to get into that Camaro blasting Van Halen. But yeah, that was it, man. You were never going to be seen again. Maybe you didn't die, but you were never seen again. There was always a dangerous Camaro playing Van Halen out there. So yeah, that aspect was never replicated in the Sammy era. But I do prefer Sammy Hagar as a vocalist. And Dave's tough. His shtick is so thick. He's tough. Like you kind of want to love him. But then he wears out his welcome pretty quickly. I was watching the Rogan podcast with him, and like, man, that guy just laughs at all his jokes, and he's his own biggest fan. But yeah, and that's it's kind of his thing. But he's an interesting guy to listen to. Like sometimes, like when he lets it simmer a little bit, and he's not just showing off. He has some pretty cool like stories, and like the dude's seen some stuff. Like there was one piece I saw with him talking about the actual history of the brown M&M story and all that, and like where it came from, and that was pretty fascinating. That was cool, and he wasn't like all like, I don't go to the party, I am the party. We're like, all right, just dial it down, Dave. Like, but yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna say Sammy, but there's like a caveat there. And I did see Sammy Van Halen or Van Hagar on the OU812 tour, and they were tough. They were crushing it. But I love 5150 and OU812, those particular two albums. Like, I don't know, it's mostly nostalgia. Like that period, that's good. Driving around in the summer with the maybe in a Camaro, but with the windows down, but not a scary situation. But yeah, all those original albums. All right, so Spencer says get them on LP. Nice, we'll do. But yeah, I felt bad. What was the guy that I forget his name now. The guy that got hired in Van Halen before Sharon took over, and he was going to be part of like Van Halen 3, and then I want to say Mitch something, but there's a YouTube video of his story and about how that whole weird awkward situation happened where David Lee Roth appeared presenting an award with Van Halen on MTV, and like the guy had to watch that on TV, and he's like, hey, that's the band I just joined with their old lead singer. And like nothing really happened of it, but it was tough. I felt bad for that dude. But yeah, good stuff. AC/DC, nice. Yeah, I don't know if I could choose between Brian Johnson and Bon Scott. I'll just say yes on that one. Yeah, I have the LPs of 5150 and OU812. I never did bother to get the bargain bin $5, because I keep seeing those like OU812 reissues for $5. But yeah, I'm probably just gonna make a make a CD copy of my vinyl because I've still got my originals, and they still sound great. David Lee Hagar. I always feel bad because Dave's like, he's still always like, he's cool with Sammy, but he's always got to like get some sort of dig in there. Like, yeah. He's like, Sammy sings, how does it feel when it's love? And I always sing, I ain't talking about love. Like, yeah, we get it. We get it, Dave. You're cool and all. That said, you know, the kind of period when he left Van Halen, I enjoyed, well, the kind of shtickier like stuff was kind of weird, even though I don't mind his kind of throwback stuff, California Girls and all that. But when he got Steve Vai and Billy Sheehan in the band, that was a hot band, man. Yankee Rose, and that song freaking shreds. So it's like I almost prefer that era David Lee Roth. I don't know, and it seemed like I don't know, his personality, he could let it kind of fly and go crazy, and it didn't really take it away from anything. And I don't know, man, it's tough. Yeah, Bon Scott did have a sick voice. Yeah, that's a bitch. I do love Brian Johnson though too. I mean, he's iconic in his own right, but Bon Scott had that little extra kind of character to his voice, which is cool. Like he has that extra like impish kind of attitude, whereas Brian Johnson's a little more straightforward, just aggression. But I love them both. But yeah, that old AC/DC stuff is killer. It's funny, one of my old roommate, we were connected with, she came over and crashed for the weekend, and for some reason never knew that Bon Scott and Brian Johnson were two different guys. Blew her mind. And she was like, wait, you're telling me that all those songs, some of those songs I love on the Maximum Overdrive soundtrack are a different guy than the Back in Black guy? I'm like, yep, it's two different guys. One guy passed away, and then they got a new guy. And she's like, so wait, the guy that did all those old songs isn't the guy that did Thunder. Na, 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 na. Yeah, let me some AC. I just went on a big AC/DC kick not too long ago. And just tore through everything I have. Good stuff. And you got to play it loud. Definitely helps. I think the appeal of David Lee Roth was he seemed dangerous. Yeah, right. There was that period. Like it kind of crossed over into like kind of hokey. Like, but back in the 70s, man, like, yeah, he had an edge. Everybody had an edge. That whole band had an edge. It's so weird too, because I kind of came out of the LA scene as like cover bands basically. So it's so interesting that, you know, they just became Van Halen, like such a powerhouse. Holy cow. But yeah, it's good stuff. But yeah. So yeah, Brian Johnson, he's the man. Good on him. Back in Black's a tough album, man. That is one hell of a We're Still Here album. That's like, man, it's just like a kick down the door, badass announcement. So good on them. That really paid off well. They used to be. I remember driving to see Van Halen, playing that album on. I taped my LP. I was listening to my dad's Camaro, driving to see Monsters of Rock, 1988. Van Halen, Scorpions, Dokken, and Metallica, and Kingdom Come was on the bill, but they didn't play that show. So I remember just driving down the highway, cranking Back in Black. Good times. Yeah, great producers. Yeah, good point. Sammy Hagar did not have an edge. Well, too much Cabo Wabo, man. Yeah, he'd more like kind of like fall on your shoulder and like tell you a story or something. Yeah, actually, I've heard the tales of Bon Scott working on the Back in Black material, and that, well, he was either cutting tracks or prepping tracks or doing some early work on stuff, and that there is like existent audio somewhere out there of alternate versions of some Back in Black material with Bon Scott on it. That'd be awesome. Yeah, and then it was weird too, because then in America, Dirty Deeds came out after. It was like this weird period where It's like Brian Johnson took over. Then it went back to Bon Scott. And then, like, For Those About to Rock came out after that. It was, like, weird. It was, like... Yeah, because we would get everything late here. So it was, like... Dirty Deeds was, like, this huge early 80s, like, thing here. But, yeah, but it was... it was Bon Scott stuff after Brian Johnson. But, yeah, it was weird. It was just kind of... That probably didn't help my my roommate. Yeah, Hager was a better singer. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, Dave had the squeals. And he had the inflatable microphone. Yeah, it's pretty late. So thanks for pointing that out. We've been yapping for like 3 hours. So yeah, next week we'll talk 12 Monkeys. So watch that if you have a copy of the Arrowvid, The Pinnacle. But all right, everybody, let's close up shop. I'm gonna go get some water because I didn't bring enough up here with me. My glass is empty. Get hydrated, hook up some stuff, and get ready for my new power converter that get in the mail tomorrow, and hook up my new LaserDisc player. That'll be fun. But yeah, I don't know if it'll be Thursday or Friday next week. We'll play that by ear. But I'm hoping Thursday. We'll see. We'll see how the schedule shakes out. I do have a couple days off next week, but sadly it's early in the week, and I want to give you a little bit of a time to watch 12 Monkeys. All right, Trick of Sega's more Highway to Hell. So there we go. Peter Steele. Freaking love Typo Negative. He died, sadly, back in 2010, maybe? Oh, man, we got to talk Typo Negative next week. Oh, Freddie. No problem, man. Thanks for hanging out yourself. But yeah, I was a huge Typo Negative fan, and was lucky enough to catch them at least once. No, a couple times. But yeah, he overdosed in... was it 2010 or 2012? But yeah, sadly. But some of the guys in the band still have some other projects going. There's a great band called A Pale Horse Named Death that's strangely two of Typo Negative's drummers, Johnny Kelly and Sal, who used to be the drummer on Bloody Kisses and before. They have that band, and it's got like a Typo Negative-ish vibe. It's really good stuff. But Maximum Overdrive was so underrated. The whiny woman in the car. Yes. She was obnoxious. I got to do a proper Maximum Overdrive video at some point because I have that Blu-ray. And I freaking love that movie, even though it's a Stephen King cocaine-fueled nightmare. Yeah, awesome. But yeah, next week, talk some Peter Steele, talk some 12 Monkeys, whatever nonsense stuff going on. Thank you, Strictly Sega. Colin, cheers, my buddy. Pete, as always, a great time. And yeah, we'll catch you guys on the flip side for sure. Keep it real and enjoy 12 months.